Nerdrotic.com.
I only did that because somebody said I'd be 1 minute late. I'm on time today. Don't get used to it. Not yet, anyway. Welcome to the Nerdrotic Nooner. My name is Gary Beekler, and I come to you from Nerdrotic.com and my mom's vajayjay. Her hoo-ha. I love my mom. Both my moms. Today, I broke out something pretty old. So only the long time viewers back in the days when I had 15 people in the live streams, those were great times. They'll recognize this, the spoiler paddle. I have the spoiler paddle because I'm going to talk about Loki. Not that there's much to spoil, because Sylvie is amazing. Did you know that? Her mission is to bring down the TVA. Not take it over, but bring it down. Loki is sad. He's a companion in his own series. I stayed up to the wee hours of the morning to watch it. It dropped at midnight. I'm like, I'm up anyway. I'm going to watch it. Because, something possibly interesting might have happened. I kind of like the whole concept of the multiple Lokis. Sorry, they didn't do anything with it. It was a complete waste of time. But they did fight a giant cloud, and it had been so long since a superhero fought, or a supervillain, or a super, fought a giant cloud. And we have a new giant villain cloud for the Villain Cloud Hall of Fame. But, and I forgot the name of it. I don't care. Purple Cloud. That's what it was. I'll have it set up. I was going to do live reviews of every episode, just didn't turn out that way. So we'll do the penultimate one here, and then I'm going to do a video. I'll go live after the finale, and then I'll do a video for the whole season. It is a giant wasted opportunity. I'm not getting into spoilers yet. Loki should have been the best series. It's starring the very popular, especially amongst the ladies, Tom Hiddleston. And I doubt the ladies like this very much. I don't think, now, obviously, I'm no lady, but I doubt this is what they were looking for. I was doing some preparation for a video, and I read the Wikipedia on the Bechdel test. This episode absolutely passes the Bechdel test, and that seems to be the priority of Kevin Feige. And I think it's high time we talked about Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige, I don't think he's a fraud. I'm not going to go that far. I think he's a typical douchey Hollywood producer. I think he does what's necessary to gain power like a typical douchey Hollywood producer. He just looks like a nice guy. And he told you all back in the early days he was a big fanboy. Big fanboy. Well, I have some audio that says differently. Turns out he's not that big of a fanboy. That'll be for a video, by the way. I can't play it here, but he said stuff like, well, I watched the cartoons. I had the pajamas, but I didn't really read the comic books. Oh, I thought you were a big fanboy, but you didn't read the comic books. Now, he read them later, and that's fine, and they followed source material, and that's why the Marvel Cinematic Universe worked, because it followed source material, and they matched their brand. In other words, Iron Man looked like Iron Man. Captain America looked like Captain America. Although I'm a bit of a purist. I like the little wings coming up. Always kind of miss that. But generally a pretty good look. Their Spider-Man costume was a good look. Hela looked great. Thor looked great at first. He looks less and less like Thor as time goes on. Loki looked great at first. So did Odin. Everybody looked spot on. And, they were pretty linear stories that were pretty simple, which is what most comic book stories are. Now, as time goes on, you want to get more complex, and I understand that. And there are more complex stories to adapt. But they decided to skip all those and go right to the MCU. And that's where we're at. We're right at Disney Marvel. Now, there could be multiple reasons for this. The Marvel Comics only exists to be an interlock, and I can't even talk right now. I had this insanely strong cup of coffee, so it's an intellectual property placeholder. That's what Marvel Comics is, and a proving ground for the MCU. And we are well into the MCU and at the very beginnings of Marvel Phase 4. And I am certainly bored. And this is going to be Marvel's worst year by far. Now, I've heard from a couple of friends who will remain unnamed who have seen Black Widow, and it's everything we thought it was. I'm going to see it tomorrow, first showing, I think. I'm gonna drag Junior to the movie theater, and he is like protesting like he just does not want to go, but I can't leave him here alone. Yeah, I guess I could, but I don't want to. And we're just at the beginnings of this. We still have. Well, I was looking at the investor meeting video again from late last year. And all the dates are wrong that they talked about, like Shang-Chi was supposed to come out in 2 days, and the Eternals is still in November. Spider-Man is supposed to come out at the end of this year. Is that still happening? They said December of this year, Spider-Man's coming out. What If is coming out this summer. Loki was supposed to come out in May. All their dates were a little off. Understandable. It's fine, but they were all a little off. Oh, and they also said Miss Marvel was an insanely popular character. They told us that 3 times in that video, that Miss Marvel took the world by storm. By storm. Is that why the game she starred in lost like, what, $50 million or something like that? Which I know is chump change to freaking Disney, but it might not be chump change to a game development company. Either way, Disney is continuing to do the stuff they did with Captain Marvel. The MCU actually started with Ant-Man and Wasp, which I not so lovingly call the Wasp and Ant-Man, where Ant-Man's suit was malfunctioning half for most of the movie, and he was just an idiot. And then there was Captain Marvel, which did more damage to the MCU than most know, especially with... I love that Eric July is the one person who understands my pain when I see Annette Bening as Marvel, and I'm sure a lot of you out there feel the same way. Captain Marvel was the perfect example of the hero's journey, which I am in the process of drawing out. I have looked up Joseph Campbell's hero's journey, and I'm going to match it with the hero's journey, which doesn't have as many steps as the hero's journey because it's not necessary, because our hero starts out amazing from the get-go. And it's just the rest of us catching up to how amazing she is throughout her journey. And our hero, suspects she's amazing, but by the end of her journey, it's confirmed that she's amazing. Now, is that a journey? Probably not, but, that's the way storytelling is these days, because we're hiring political activists instead of storytellers. And that's why everything is garbage now. Absolutely everything is garbage, to the point where, and listen, no disrespect to anybody who doesn't like or likes the Tomorrow War, which for some reason has kicked up some controversy. The Tomorrow War is like a decent straight-to-video movie starring Chris Pratt, and I think a lot of it is Hollywood, or a lot of SJWs and NPCs and just angry, miserable people want to cancel Chris Pratt. because he doesn't talk about his politics, and a lot of us are going to be on his side for precisely the same reason. And I'm one of those people. I am one of those people. And yeah, that shit matters to me. I think, sometimes an actor's sentiment, especially when it's speaking truth to power, when you're somebody who is going against the grain, you are being a true rebel like Gina Carano, and to a certain extent, Chris Pratt and others. I'm going to root for them no matter what. And I'm not going to be sorry about it. And neither should you be. That's why Gina's earned a place on the mic. We haven't heard from Gina in a while. I'm sure she's very busy working on her film. And I can't wait to see that eventually. Now, before we get started with Loki, let's see who's here. Let me pull up my little screen here, and we'll do our greetings. Mrs. Nerdrotic is in San Francisco, so I'm semi-bachelor. It's just me and Nerdrotic Jr. in this freaking giant house that we're renting. It has way more square footage than we actually need. We can't even fill this place up because we moved from a postage stamp. Yeah, and I'll give you a little Cal Exit update. And I recorded a California video. It's been so long since I put one out, and there's a lot of new subs here. I have to kind of warn. I feel like I got to warn you guys before I put it out, if I put it out. And I don't know if I'm going to put it on daily or the main channel. I'm leaning towards the main channel. But it could be construed as political, but it's really just me ripping California and San Francisco for about 10 minutes. And I don't see it as political. I see it as kind of updating you on where I'm at and why I'm leaving and why other people should leave California. I mean, get out of here as fast as you can, while you can. While you can. Pat Garris, thank you for the super chat. I'll get to that in just a moment. Oh, well, shit, I'll just read it right now. Kevin Feige looks like Brian Stelter. Not a good look. Yeah, he's a skinnier one, though. He's lost a lot of weight. He's looking very lean and mean right now. He's gone full Hollywood. Kevin Feige sold us out. That's basically what it is. So I'm not going to call him a fraud. I'm going to call him a sellout. And Kevin Feige has very quickly gone from basically a producing god in Hollywood to Kathleen Kennedy. He's Kathleen Kennedy now. He's no different. Kathleen Kennedy has a long line of very successful films too, longer than his. And he has a very long line of very successful films. And, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is still a successful franchise. It has not had a failure yet. I would argue the D+ series are failures, but they've spun it to where they're popular. But I don't think any of them are getting, 10 million views an episode, which I would call popular. I don't think that's even possible on a streaming service. And that's why if you're sensing a little stress behind the scenes and moving and shaking behind the scenes, because now that they've had their streaming services up for a year, they got a real idea of how many people actually watch these things and for how long. They know all the data now. They don't have to rely on anybody else. It's all right there. And they're probably going, wow, not as many people watch this stuff, and not as many people watch it for the entire episode as we thought. And they probably won't, especially when you serve up boring garbage. Roof Korean, The Based for $2. Hero's Journey, or Hero of 1,000 Menopauses. Oh, I'm going to give you that. I don't know if Mrs. Nerdrotic would approve of that joke, but I certainly do. Thank you. Chris Persia, The Canadian Wrench, Keely Chow, Lagbait, Brad DL, Titus Young, Keck44, Geek Tripology, XR, Kun, The Dark Side, Cosmic Entity. God, I need an echo. So I can go hot down. No, I don't want to rip off Az stuff. You know why I love Az? We'll be talking on the phone, and we'll be talking about stuff, and he's all, oh, I'm going to steal that take. And then he fucking does, like in his next video. But he tells you. It's charming. We have Corey Sapilia. Release the McCracken. Galaxy Express Media. Jennifer Sisko and a wrench, thank you for being here. Lord Thoth and his wrench, thank you for being here. You guys are brilliant. Ivan Ivanovich. Gentle. Or is it Gentile? Fuck you, Google. Sorry, Google. I've got to read out the names. And I think it says, fuck you, Google. Oh, I got my phone. My phone's like, what did you say? That's not creepy at all. Wind of Change. And Michael Hickson. Welcome, everyone, to the Nerdrotic Nooner. Everybody loves a nooner. Doesn't matter what time of day. It could be an afternoon delight. It could be a quickie at night. Okay. Loki. We got a couple articles to go over, maybe. But I wanted to, it's a big week for Marvel, all right? Hollywood is still slowly opening up. So we're going to be getting assaulted with movies and TV shows over the next 6 months. It's going to be slow to begin with, but I figure by August we're going to start getting a lot of stuff. And this is a huge weekend for Hollywood to see if Hollywood can come back, if the theaters can come back. Unfortunately, the first movie Marvel rolls out with, and by the way, as far as I know, Shang-Chi is finished. The Eternals is finished. So you decided to lead with Black Widow, a film about a dead character, and she's just passing the mantle to cute little Florence Pugh. I mean, she's adorable. Little 5'4" Florence Pugh is going to go out with no superpowers and become an Avenger. We'll see how that works out. But nothing personal against Florence Pugh. She seems like a perfectly charming person, right? These actors, they I try. Listen, some of them are adult pretenders, like the Mark Ruffalo's, who go out there and think they're doing something important in the world because they can pretend very well. And the problem is they're pretending all the time because they're just hollow, vacuous NPCs who just repeat downloaded information. But then Joe Rogan exposed them all for, they're all scared. Most of them are scared. And the actor's lifestyle, which, unless you've lived and worked in Hollywood, you might not know how that town works. And Joe Rogan explained it in that cut. Bounding did an article on it perfectly. Is everything's an angle to get to my next gig. That's pretty much life in Hollywood. Now, there are some real people there I met some really cool people there, but vast majority is, can you help me get to the next gig? If you can't, then screw you. If you get in my way, I'll plunge a dagger in your back. Because it's a feeding frenzy. It's a Shark Tank. That's why Swimming with Sharks is, while a little hyperbolic, a very accurate movie. Starring Kevin Spacey. I highly recommend you watch it. It's actually a pretty good movie. So, I'm going to forget the acronym now. I might be able to look it up. Let me see if I can look it up. There was a Joe Rogan clip of him interviewing that old MTV VJ who has a podcast now, and I'm completely Adam. And I've listened to his podcast too. I think his name is Adam. I can't remember. He used to have full-on flowing 80s hair, and he's kind of got a twitch. I think he's got I don't know if it's Tourette's or something, but he's got a twitch. He blinks like this. But he's a smart dude. He's a smart dude. Now, what was the acronym? They talked about a marketing acronym that pretty much is driving Hollywood right now. And that marketing acronym was, here, I'll just go to Joe Rogan's clips and see if I can find it. There it is. ESGs. ESGs. And it's something to the effect of is the person you're marketing or the entity you're marketing socially and environmentally and social something or other? But it has to be, basically, it's social justice marketing. All right, we'll just call it that. It's ESG. And if you watch that clip, he explains that that's why so many of these entities, it's virtue signal marketing. That's what it is. Are you safe? It's very safe to virtue signal. It's the safest thing to do, because if you call any of it out, then you know, for the longest time, we have been called phobes of all kind, and a company would rather burn itself down than be called that. So it's the path of least resistance, and I've talked about it, and that's what's driving Hollywood. That's what's driving corporate America right now, and that's why they're bending knees and doing all this crazy stuff, because they're fucking scared. It's extortion. The riots of last year freaked out Hollywood. Absolutely freaked them out. Just like Me Too freaked out Hollywood. And what we're seeing now is a monetized apology, and Hollywood's trying to project what they have been doing for years on the audience. So this brings us Bechdel test Me Too Loki, because that's exactly what we wanted to see. So Loki was a bait and switch. In that trailer, we all saw, we remember we saw President Loki and we saw DB Cooper Loki, and we're like, wow, this is going to be a time-traveling romp with multiple Lokis going against each other and da-da-da. No, it's just introducing a female Loki. That's all this show is introducing the very amazing and the much more capable Sylvie. Something they confirm in the last episode, that Loki falling in love with himself with Sylvie created a Nexus event, but she's the Nexus event, basically, because she is the one Loki who's not a loser, essentially. And it's because she's female. That's it. It couldn't be more on the nose. And a show like Loki should be the least on the nose thing. You should be left guessing at all times. Kevin Feige described it as a crime thriller. Does it feel like a crime thriller? A crime thriller over what? So if it's a crime thriller, are we talking about the TVA? Well, the TVA, after, I would say capable world building, they showed us. We haven't seen any employees since. We've seen a few time cops. Body positivity time cop is now a good guy, and she's locked up. And the only conversation she has between girl boss is how amazing Sylvie is. But let's go to the beginning. So we're going to get in spoiler territory here. There's nothing to spoil. For one, there are no answers in this show. The only thing that is confirmed is the female Loki is the only female variant. All right. All the other variants are male. They're all male. They're all losers. But the female variant, the lone one, that's the answer. That's the one Loki who doesn't lose, because she's self-taught. She's amazing. Just amazing. So we start out the episode. Loki was pruned. And then Sylvie and girl boss, I think it's Ravana. I can't remember. I want to say Ramana. But girl boss and Sylvie come to a standoff, and then it looks like they're going to be buddies. And I bit into this because it happens so much. Like, girls can't be bad. They're never truly evil. So they're going to be buddies. They want the same thing. They want to know who's behind the curtain for the TVA. And I'm going to guess right now, it's probably Sylvie. It's probably maybe the other female variant, or Ravana. It's going to be probably a woman. I could be wrong. It could be Kang the Conqueror or Mephisto. Who fucking knows? We'll find out next episode, because we got absolutely no answers. This was just a long, drawn-out thing to get to the finale. So Ravana and Sylvie have a conversation. They find out they are pretty amazing, and they are on the same team. So let's work together. And there happens to be a ship that can travel to the void. And we find out that they don't kill everybody or the timelines. What they do is they put them to the end of time, and then the void eats them. So they end up getting killed there. So that should tell you that Mobius isn't dead either. And so they pretend, girl time cop boss pretends to be her friend, but then calls the cops on her, calls the rest of the time cops on her. She pulled a double cross on her. So Sylvie self-prunes. She prunes herself once she finds out that Loki doesn't, although it wasn't confirmed, she could have been lying. And she ends up going to the very end of time where Loki is with all the other Lokis. So why do I keep forgetting his name? Damn it. Hang on. Let me pull up my IMDb. I need to get my names right. I didn't write any notes because I didn't care. I've got my notes from my video. There he is, Richard E. Grant. Richard E. Grant plays like 616 Loki. Then we have Kid Loki. Then we have Alligator Loki, which was the best thing in this. And we have Black Loki. We find out everybody why they've like Kid Loki killed Thor. We see I think we see Frog Thor for like a second. I couldn't tell. It looked like Frog Thor. But it was just an Easter egg. Richard E. Grant just ran from Thanos. He hid and ran and lived out a life in solitude and then got lonely. And the minute he stepped off the planet he was hiding, the Time Variance Agency found him. Black Loki defeated Captain America and Thor and says he got all the Infinity Stones, but everybody said he was lying. Nobody knows why Alligator Loki was there. And that's pretty much it. So they spend their day running at the end of they're basically at the end of time, and you see like Big Ben and the Sphinx and the Golden Gate Bridge all together. It's very Doctor Who-ish. And they have to run from the giant purple cloud, who I'm forgetting the name, and it doesn't matter, because the giant purple cloud essentially is what eats everything at the end. It cleans up the timeline. So they spend their time running and talking and bickering, and they tell their stories. They go into an underground bunker, and it's filled with like garbage. And Kid Loki is the king of this realm, and it's because he killed Thor. He's the one guy who killed Thor. And they sit there and they talk. In the meantime, a pruned Sylvie shows up at the end of time, and she is picked up by Mobius, who's driving a car, and they run from the giant purple cloud, and they take off. In the meantime, Black Loki double crosses all the other Loki and sends for more Lokis. And that's where we see that picture that I put it up on Twitter. I think I could share it right now. Why not? That got everybody talking. The one that got everyone talking. It's like, oh, what's this? Multiple Lokis. We have like 9 more Lokis. Let me fix this first. Sorry. Little OCD there. Is it number 4? Let's do this. Nope. Maybe it's this one. Let's do this. There we go. Make sure my messages aren't showing. Yeah, see this picture right here. Everybody was talking about it. This was pretty much it. So the Black Loki, why'd it have to be the Black Loki? Betrayed all the other Lokis and called all these Lokis. And this is the only other Tom Hiddleston we ever see. And that whole president thing was just a sight gag used for the trailer. It was fucking throwaway. So what they do is they end up going down. Tom Hiddleston Loki says, hey, let's all work together to try to do da, and they say, fuck you, and they all fight. The only funny scene is the alligator Loki bites the hand off of this Loki, which was funny. They start fighting and killing each other. Tom Hiddleston Loki, our Loki, tiptoes around the fight, and leaves with Richard E. Grant Loki, Kid Loki, Alligator Loki. And they're never seen again. We never see these Lokis again. That's it. That was the fucking scene. Just in case you forgot, they tell you twice when Mobius is talking to Sylvie in the car on their way to miraculously meet Loki again, that she is on a mission to bring down the TVA. Then she runs into Loki. Loki is happy. He runs. They hug. Everybody meets each other. These are my friends. Then all of a sudden they are sitting down and talking by a fire with Mobius, and they're all talking like they've known each other for 10 years. Kid Loki's like, what are your dreams? What do you want to do, Mobius? And he's like, well, I just want to go and tear down the time agency. And he's like, and Richard E. Grant said, so the one thing you believed in your entire life, you were willing to burn down? Yeah. Okay. That was the conversation. There was a lot of fucking talking. So they sat down and talked. And then we go to another scene where Loki and Sylvie are sitting down and talking. It's like Yaz, the movie. If you're a Doctor Who fan, you know what I'm talking about. So they talk about their feelings, and Loki is definitely going to fuck Loki. This is for sure. That he's getting laid. She talks about how she doesn't have any friends, and are you my friend? And you're my friend. Are you my friend? Are we friendsies? And they almost pinky sweared. They did pinky swear once in Star Trek Discovery. Did I mention spoilers? Have I spoiled anything yet? So they sit down and talk, and they're frenzy-wensies. And then Sylvie goes, we need to bring down the TVA. And I was like, whoa, I am so glad she told me that, because they haven't mentioned it in like 2 minutes, and I completely forgot that was the point of the show. Then Loki says, you're amazing. And I completely forgot that, because they haven't said it this entire episode. There is a brief conversation between girl boss, time cop, and body positivity time cop. And you know what they talk about? How amazing Sylvie is. That's what they talk about. But then we find out that girl time cop actually does want the same thing Sylvie wants. She's just going about it differently. So she's actually helping her behind the scenes. So they did become friends. Oh my God, shipping girl time cop boss and Sylvie now. Lesby shippies. And then we don't see him again. So there's a lot of talking about taking on the giant purple cloud. They sit down and they said, this purple cloud's pretty fucking formidable. We're going to have to come up with a plan. Loki's like, we'll do this. And then Sylvie goes, you're a dumb man. Shut the fuck up. I have a better plan because I have teats. So she comes up with a better plan because she has teats and the writers favor her. And she's going to enchant the purple cloud. We find out that Richard E. Grant, he does mention that, like, I didn't throw around fucking blades. Blades are stupid. I focused on my magic. And it turns out he's pretty powerful, as far as that's concerned. And he rebuilds Asgard. So the purple cloud monster rebuilds Asgard. It distracts the purple cloud monster. So Loki, who all of a sudden has learned how to enchant because they're the same person. So they hold hands and they enchant the purple cloud. The purple cloud kills Richard E. Grant. He just gave his life after he said he didn't want to give his life, and he laughed and he said glorious purpose, and then he dies. But it's just a white male. It's just Richard E. Grant. And then they defeat the giant purple cloud. The giant purple cloud opens up to a castle. They walk through the opening in the giant purple cloud to the castle, and the episode ends. What did we learn? What did we learn? Sophie's amazing. Loki's a sad little boy who wants to fuck himself. And man, do these people really like to write people sitting down and talking. Mobius is alive, but he was barely in this, and his return emotionally didn't have any. See, the thing is, in this series, there are things that could have worked. There were things that were interesting. We have Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson. I always get them mixed up, but Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston, unless I'm getting the Wilson name wrong. And they're great they're charming actors. They're good actors. They're the reason we watch it. And this show is not about them. This Loki show is about Sylvie, is about the women of the time agency. There's a suspicious amount of women in this show. And the women are very competent. They're capable, and they are cardboard cutouts. They aren't even people. They are just things that speak words. They are NPCs. They feel like game NPCs. So if this show feels hollow, if this show feels on the nose, it is. It is. And this should have been the best. But this is what we're going to get from Disney+. I think we're pretty sure we know what we're going to get. Marvel has always had a villain problem. And since they have bit in and bought in to so much of the, let's call it for what it is, the Marxist ideology of identity politics, intersectional feminism, CRT, nihilism, nothing matters. You can't have any villains, or villains always have to have purpose, or they have to have complexity. They can't just be fucking bad unless they're white men. And it makes for just boring storytelling. And it's frustrating to see Marvel go down this road, because there are so many great stories that they can adapt until the end of fucking time that would make them billions. So the question has to be asked. Why are they doing this? Like, why are they doing this? Well, it's that acronym I talked about. It's the safest thing to do. Disney's not going to take any chances, and that's why they are too big to succeed. Long gone are the days of the Francis Ford Coppolas, the Steven Spielbergs, the George Lucases, the one entity who is controlling everything. And that person needs to be creative, for one. Kevin Feige is a producer. He's a producer. And it's now a corporate producer-driven market, which means it's doomed. And when Tomorrow War is being praised, I mean, again, I sat through it. I liked it. I thought it was fine. But it's not a smart movie. It's not a good movie. It's just I like Chris Pratt, and it had a good little. It's got J.K. fucking Simmons in it. I like J.K. fucking Simmons, but I can't rationally tell you it's a good movie, right? But compared to all the other shit we're getting. So Loki, gets a D+ again, a D+. And I'll go. I got to show you clips. I've got things set up, right? I have been kind of slowly working on multiple videos at once. That's why I haven't had a chance to finish one yet. But I just there hasn't been one that's spoken to me yet that I need to come out with, and we're so close to Black Widow now. I might as well wait and just do that first. And that's why I decided to go live. And I do this. Let's do this. We have a $50 super chat. What up, dog? Been a minute. What's up, Jaleel Kwas? It has been a minute. Throwing up some support. Hell yeah. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Welcome to the show. $50. Hell yeah. And we got $5 from MK Solid 82. Says, Gary, the back issues for Western gunfighters with Kid Colt and Ghost Rider are awesome and politically incorrect. Are you familiar with them? The Western gunfighters and like Kid Colt, I didn't read. No. I have the old Western Ghost Rider. Because I'm a Ghost Rider fan, and yes, I'm aware of what they are and what they were back then, and a lot of the comics were politically incorrect. I didn't read King Colt, only Ghost Rider, and it's only because it was connected to the other Ghost Rider, and I'm a completist. But thank you for the $5. I might have to check them out. Loki is just like all the other MCU shows. Cool concept, terrible execution. What do you think? I completely agree. The concepts for WandaVision that was a great concept that they completely mishandled, and it turned into a dumb girl fight at the end. And I don't know, you suspend too much logic. You have the Vision the Vision came back, and he just took off. The reason he took off, because that would tip the balance. Plus, the Vision's pretty freaking powerful. So let's not have him fight. Let's just have him fight himself and then run off. And we wanted to focus on Wanda. And the big takeaway is she got a costume change, and now she's really powerful. And she's going to be the most powerful thing in the Doctor Strange movie, which minimizes Doctor Strange. And that's what this is about. I heard Jane Theory say this in a live stream, and I completely agree with her. Nobody wants just the men or just the women to kick ass. We want them both to kick ass. Fighting together, fighting a bad guy, back to back as partners, as equals. That's what we want. But intersectional feminism is about the diminishing males. You see, they use the term toxic masculinity. What was I watching? A Preston Jacobs video. If you don't know who Preston Jacobs is, he likes to, he theorizes about A Song of Ice and Fire. And quite frankly, he makes much more sense out of things than George ever intended. And he's talking about, God, I'm blanking now. He was talking about the feminism in A Song of Ice and Fire, and there's tons of it. But the way George writes it is fine. The difference between what George does and what Marvel does is George doesn't diminish the male character, or there's a reason for it and it feels natural, but this is just out to diminish. But Preston Jacobs was talking about toxic masculinity in today's society. And the one erroneous thing he said was, we are in a peacetime society, so there's no need for masculinity outside of, making fences and construction and stuff like that. And I would argue that he's an idiot for saying that, because did you not see last summer? We're not living in the most stable society right now. I've seen society much more stable than it is right now. It is teetering on the fucking edge. Let's be real. And it is not a time to get rid of masculinity. Au contraire. And there's nothing wrong with masculinity, because we're born with it. We can't do anything about it. And it's not anything I'm ever going to apologize. Now, where's that line between toxic masculinity? Well, yes, of course, you want to respect women. Of course, you want to respect all people. You don't want to be a douche. There'll always be douches. But, there's far less douches today than there was before. I was watching let's see if I can find it. If you want to see a TikTok video, I think Robot Head retweeted it. Pretty sure Robot Head retweeted it. It is, and one guy tweeted up, like, this is a case to bring back bullying. And I could not agree more. And once you see this, just prepare for some cringe, folks. Once I get to it. If I can find it, of course. And all this build up. Maybe he just liked it and didn't retweet it. Yeah, that sucks. Let's see if I can find it quickly. I'll try to vamp until then. So, Preston Jacobs was talking about, like, we live in a peaceful society now and we have no need for masculinity. And that's the philosophy, but they're also trying to take away what could be a resistance. And that's why this entire diminishment. Now, Hollywood is doing it again as a giant apology because of their genuine mistreatment of women over decades. But they make it, I love how they treat it like it's always been the fans' fault. Like, we made these decisions. Like, we casted these characters. Like, we used the casting couch. I hate to break this to you. That was you guys. And Harvey Weinstein is everybody knew about Harvey Weinstein. Seth MacFarlane was one of the few people to call him out publicly. And people just laughed. But other people were calling him God. Like Meryl Streep. Oh, Scarlett Johansson. Big fans. You know, Quentin Tarantino just came out and said everybody in his orbit knew. Damn it, now I'm not going to be able to find this. Oh, well, I tried. It'll pop up again. Somebody will see it. It's a TikTok of, it's like a Gen Z musical. And it's the most cringe thing I've ever seen. But now I can't find it. Because I saw it like an hour ago and everybody tweets like a 14-year-old girl. So my timeline is like already completely filled up and I get to the end of it and it just stops. So there's a lot of, God dang, you people tweet a lot. Okay, nope. Sorry. That sucks. I should have bookmarked it. All right. We got another $50 super chat. It says, as a thank you for keeping this trucker sane and safe out there, keep up the good work. Thank you, Captain Caboose, for $50 and keep on trucking, dude. And thank you for going out there and driving into these shit-stained cities and risking your life these days because I know it's not as safe as it used to be out there. I've heard stories. And yeah, things are teetering on the balance. I mean, I don't mean to worry people. If you live out in the country, you're fine. But if you live in a city like San Francisco, L.A., New York, you got to watch yourself now. I remember when our idiot police chief talked about defunding the police, the very next day, you can tell there was a change in attitude in the city. And there was a lot less fear. And when I was out jogging and doing, because my gym was fucking shut down, I had to look over my shoulder for like the first time. And my neighborhood was, safe for San Francisco, was fine. It's not anything I ever worried about. But yeah, things changed for the worse. Oh, and all this shit was rooted on by Hollywood, by the way. Griff Rider 1 for $5. Hail, Gary. This may be an exozone question. Do you have any favorite astronomy YouTubers? I have been enjoying Astrum, but have been looking for some other channels to check out. I don't. I'm sorry, I don't. I followed exclusively UFO YouTubers, and there used to be a bunch of them, but they are gone. They're mostly gone. But any woo-woo I follow is Randall Carlson, Uncharted X, Brian Forster, which is mainly ancient civilization stuff, and Secure Team. Linda Moulton Howe is not somebody I follow anymore. She went off the deep woo-woo end for me anyway. I'm still looking for this TikTok because it was so cringe, but I'll give it one more look. But I don't think I'm going to find it. Oh, that's too bad. It was funny. Somebody will have it up by Friday Night Tights. By the way, Friday Night Tights. Let's talk about Friday Night Tights. We got Chrissy Mayer and a surprise guest. We're going to start doing this more. We're going to start having multiple guests. Chrissy Mayer will be the center of attention. She is our main guest. We love Chrissy Mayer, but we're going to have somebody else popping in as well that you'll absolutely love. You will love. Oh, my God. See, if that was She-Ra, if this was She-Ra, I'd watch the fucking show. You know what I'm saying? That's a woman right there. See, why can't you cast a woman like this? Like, for a superhero, there's plenty of, like, we'll say thick women out there that look like they can go and beat the shit out of something. Gina Carano. Why are you getting 5'4"? I mean, 5'4". A 5'4" person, unless they're carrying a freaking AR-15 or a AK-47 or whatever guns you can think of, they're not doing damage to anybody. as somebody who's been and lost a lot of fights, and I'm 6 foot. I'm 6 foot. Right now I'm like 185. When I was younger, I was a little heavier, but I was younger. So I was like 200. And I got hit one time by a 300-pound dude, and it felt like I got hit by a fucking truck. Broke my orbital bone. My glasses went flying across the room. I have never been hit that hard. I went completely out. It's the only time I've been stone cold knocked out. But yeah, those people can kill you. Florence Pugh, cute little Florence Pugh, is going to be jumping off planes and shit. And like, listen, we know it's an idealized world, and that's essentially what we want. But the problem is, it's with the reason the MCU is a failure before it even starts is comic books are masculine. Comic books are idealized. Comic books are about traditional heroism. All the things the far extreme left cult does not like. Absolutely. So you're putting this giant square peg into a giant round hole, and it's just never going to fit. And it's the corporations being cowardly and not standing up to these people. And all they have to do to stand up to these people is not listen to them and not acknowledge it. I'm not saying you have to listen to me. I have never said that, or us. Just don't listen to them and make good entertainment. That's all you need to do. Yeah, people are going to fucking bitch on Twitter. They always do. You know, that's something that kind of gets into the head of a lot of content creators, right? I think one of the things that gets in the way of a lot of content creators that I've witnessed in my time here and is the content creator, because we let the negative echo around in our head and we completely ignore all the positive, right? When you should take in both equally and just not sweat it. You know, Friday Night Tights has been growing. Not everybody's happy with it. I get emails, and they're nice for the most part. They're not like, you're a dick, fuck you. But there's people who just aren't happy with like how salty it gets and stuff, and it's just not going to change. I guess the best thing I could say is like, hey, it's one show on my channel, but it's not going to change. People are loving it. It's going to continue to grow, and that's the way it goes. Hey, the person who gave me the spoiler prattle was a huge supporter of this channel back in the early days. But once I started getting into the culture war, she was out. That's fine. Nothing personal. I don't take it personal. I knew what risk I ran getting into. That's why, it concerned me. My channel was growing in the beginning. But, remember, I started this in 2014. And it was just a backup at first. I didn't take it very seriously. I had a day job. So it sat at like 1,000, 2,000 subs for a long freaking time. I was happy with that. I was like, this is fine. This is more than I ever thought I'd get. But then Doctor Who creeped up. Now, I did do a review on The Last Jedi the day it came out. And I did. My co-host John Reed was there, and we were doing a yin-yang. It's like, I didn't like it. He liked it. He was brutalized in the comments so much that he didn't want to do this anymore. And that's that, like, and I was too. I called it an abomination. But I still didn't see myself as getting into the culture war until Doctor Who happened. And let's be real. The only franchise that stands a chance of surviving right now is Marvel. That's sad. And I mean, not just surviving or puttering along or maintaining its base. I'm talking these franchises, Doctor Who, Star Trek, Star Wars, were pinnacle franchises, right? That have all seen their better days. And I don't know, unless it bucks the trend, as far as trends go, things don't bounce back like that. They just never do. Star Wars they did buck the trend. They, for briefly, were back. I could argue I thought Star Wars was done after the prequels. It would always have its core fan base, but as far as the normies are concerned, they moved on. They like the superhero movies, and that's certainly the way it looked. Miraculously, it gets sold to Disney, and then they make the biggest mistake in cinematic history by not putting Han, Luke, and Leia into a scene together. I would argue put them in the whole movie together. And the person responsible for that, one of the people responsible for that, was given $500 million by Warner Brothers. Hollywood's not a smart town. It's filled with fucking rich idiots, which is dangerous. It's extremely dangerous, and we've proven how dangerous it is. You know, all that hyperbole that we were talking about all those years. We were called ists and phobes and alarmists and crazy and conspiracy theorists, and now, you know, it's full-on propaganda. And I wanted to be wrong. I wanted to be crazy. I was like, maybe I'm crazy. I would have much preferred that to what we got. What we're getting. So losing the Marvel Cinematic Universe, why in the grand scheme of things, you know, does it really matter? I would say yes. To me, it does. Because it is a huge franchise that didn't need to bend the knee to the SJWs and the NPCs and the far left, and did anyway, out of fear. When the Marvel Cinematic Universe and Kevin Feige could have whipped his dick out whenever he wants and tell people to fuck off, and nope, the Marvel stands will back him. I mean, my next video is going right after Kevin Feige. Like, he's gone. We lost him. And not that we ever had him. Maybe he was just full of shit. Let's go back in time. Let's go back in time a little bit. The Marvel Cinematic Universe was started by Avi Arad, or Avi Arad, whatever you want to say. He started Marvel Studios in 2005. It was his reputation based on his work with the X-Men and the animated series and the huge hit Spider-Man. And Kevin Feige was a co-producer. Marvel had seen better days, but things were turning around under Perlmutter. The comic books were getting better after 9/11. The movies were big hits, but Marvel wasn't making a lot of money. Somehow they didn't make a lot of money off of Sony's Spider-Man and Fox's X-Men. So Avi Arad decided to start Marvel Studios in 2005 with Kevin Feige. Then they secured a deal with Merrill Lynch, which was like a revolving credit, I think it was called, and essentially one of the biggest risks ever taken in Hollywood. And if Iron Man hadn't been a hit, because Hulk wasn't. Hulk made money because they were made for such little money, but it wasn't a hit. If any of these movies had outright flopped, they would have lost the character, not just rights or distributing rights, the character. They risked everything on it. And Avi Arad, because he's got a fragile ego, and this is what fucks up so many things here on YouTube and in the world, is fragile fucking egos. He had a fragile ego. Kevin Feige secured the loan with Merrill Lynch. Avi Arad got butthurt because he felt like the loan was secured with his name and resigned. The fucking idiot resigned from Marvel Studios on the brink of the MCU starting. Kevin Feige takes over. He brings in Dan Buckley, Joe Quesada, and some other people. Edgar Wright was involved too, and a guy named Jon Favreau was involved too. And this team of creative people who were really into the project made this beautiful thing called the MCU. Systematically, Kevin Feige removed all those people, including Perlmutter. That's how powerful he got. He was just a producer. He removed the guy who used to own Marvel and had a seat at the table with Disney. He removed his ass. Now he fucking rolled a bus over him, made him look like a bigot. Blamed him for all the failures, like Black Widow not happening and Captain Marvel not happening and Black Panther not happening. And that might have been true. But see, Ike Perlmutter is famously a recluse. He does not give interviews. He doesn't even like having his picture taken. But under his leadership, quote unquote, Marvel wasn't doing that bad. Okay. They weren't doing great, but they weren't doing that bad. And I would argue I miss Ike Perlmutter now. He was also a big Trump supporter. So that probably, and again, he would not go out in public and defend himself. So Kevin Feige could go out and say whatever the fuck he wanted, knowing that Ike Perlmutter, being such a recluse, don't know why, wouldn't say anything. So that's the narrative now. Now Kevin Feige has completely taken over. But so far, the MCU was doing great. I would say it peaked in 2014 with Guardians of the Galaxy, Winter Soldier. Sure, there were some good movies after that, some competent movies. I don't agree with, I love Mahler, okay, unconditionally. We disagree on a couple things. I'm not the biggest Spider-Man, well, I'm not a Spider-Man MCU fan at all. And I thought Civil War was a good movie. I liked it. I don't think it's better than Winter Soldier. He thinks the opposite. That's fine. That's like apples and oranges, really. But Guardians was a movie that transcended everything. It was the most Star Wars feeling movie I have watched since Star Wars. And however you feel about James Gunn, I just watched it a few days ago. The movie is beautiful. It's magic. I love it. And we're nowhere near that anymore. Those days are long gone. Infinity War, good movie. Damn good movie. Captain Marvel, garbage. Endgame, garbage. Lots of emotional moments, but the 5-year jump was stupid, and you fucking Birkenstock Hulk, Fat Thor, fuck that. The last time they fight together, Thor's fat, and it's Birkenstock Hulk. And can't have that back. And that's going to be looked at. The people are going to criticize that as time goes on. Once we get further away, and I said this at the time when I did the review, I'm like, people are not going to look back on the Marvel Cinematic Universe as fondly as you think in 10 years. Believe me, they'll be ripping it apart. And they're starting to do it, as they should, because it's filled with mostly mediocre movies, some really damn good ones, and it's simply the most successful franchise in the world that could have continued to be successful, but they decided to derail it with fucking agenda and politics because it's more important and it's also safer. Unfortunately, the executives in Hollywood, the bankers, will never understand fandom. And Kevin Feige, I thought, understood us, and I think he does, but he's chosen to ignore that because he is now in the club. Kevin Feige is now in the club. He has ascended. He's practically Spielberg status. He is an elite. Probably went up to Bohemian Grove, did a mock sacrifice to Moloch, and I'm only half joking there. All of a sudden, he's looking Hollywood skinny instead of, because he used to look like the rest of us. But now he's looking like Hollywood skinny, whatever elixir or whatever they're bathing in. That makes him look skinny, but not really healthy. You know what I'm saying? Like he's on a kale diet. And he's telling us we're going to get a Miss Marvel show, a She-Hulk show, a Kate Bishop show, an Ironheart show. We got female Thor. We got female Black Panther. Oh, the MCU is going to be and the two good movies, possibly, Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, will be filled with anytime they cast a white male lead, they need to surround him with 17 women who are much more competent to balance all that toxic masculinity that drives fucking the comic book market. Grey Ghost for $3. Hail, Nerdaholic. That's funny. Thanks to his appearance on Friday Night Tights, I was introduced to the amazing It's a Gundam, and we love It's a Gundam. As a matter of fact, let me finish this chat, and I'll tell you something. And have been binging, listening, watching his brilliant YouTube channel lately. Better comedy than anything Hollywood makes today. Any idea when he'll be back? Yes. Thank you for asking that question. I did speak to It's a Gundam. We exchanged a message, I think 3 days ago. We're gonna bring him back in the next 3 weeks if he can make it. Hopefully in the next 2 to 3 weeks we're gonna bring him back because it's time to bring back Papa Gundam. Nikki D for $3, and thank you for the $3 donation. By the way, this is the donation side. As a lady who is a huge Loki and Tom Hiddleston fan, this show fundamentally destroys Loki's character without a doubt, which thoroughly pisses me off. How do you think it'll end? Think Tom Hiddleston will return for season 2, or will it be just female Loki? Is there a season 2? Is there going to be a season 2 of Loki? I haven't even heard that. I kind of assumed all these were one-offs. WandaVision will not have a season 2. Falcon and Winter Soldier will not have a season 2. Would he return for season 2? No, I think it would be just Sylvie. I think he possibly dies at the end. Because if you notice, most of these shows end up pretty much where they started. We have Wanda. We didn't know what happened to Wanda at the end of Endgame after the funeral, right? So she went a little mad, and now she's living in the mountains, and she's going to be the villain in Doctor Strange, and it's going to be just like Thor Ragnarok, and you're going to have our hero not fighting the villain, trying to outsmart her, but they're not going to fight. But what a waste of Sam Raimi. Oh, America Chavez is going to be in Doctor Strange as well. So any hopes you had for that, they're crushed. America Chavez, the lesbian portal puncher. Polaris Sucks for $1. What's up, Polaris Sucks? It says, YouTube free small donation here for you, Gary. Love the content. Thank you, Polaris Sucks. We love you too. We love you too. Hail, Gary. The news of Donner's passing hits hard. I got to drag this down a little bit. Oh, okay. I'll read that one. Yeah. The news of Donner's passing hits hard. I am a Puerto Rican guy who grew up not too well off in Brooklyn, New York during the 80s, but never saw that as a hindrance. I am American. I love America. His 1978 Superman is part of the inspiration. Why? Rest in peace. That is Grey Ghost. Thank you for the $5. And yes, Superman the movie is Americana. You know, the same thing that Captain America ripped in the first issue of the United States of Captain America when Captain America said he doesn't believe in the fucking American dream anymore and Americana is fake. Oh, yes, I bring that up in my next video. Fuck that shit. I know people have talked about it, but I haven't, so I'm going to talk about it. Okay, so Loki, how will it end? I'm thinking the person behind the curtain is probably Sylvie. It could be, if I go the intersectional feminist, woke politics, Disney route, the most powerful thing has to be female. They could make it Tom Hiddleston. They've been setting us up this whole time to make him look soft and good. And then we find out that that's just another variant. And the one that we've been following isn't the real one or some shit like that. That would be smart though. But I at this point, the most predictable thing would be it's the boss lady. It's the time cop boss lady behind it the whole time. They're setting her up for something. Or it's Owen Wilson. I don't know. I imagine it's going to be a female though, but I can't say I know for sure. I'm sure there's theories out there. I just don't care. They spent this entire episode doing nothing but defeating a cloud, getting to next mission. That's what it is. It was getting to next mission. Did we have character development? No, it was highly repetitive. There is so much tell, not show in these D+ series, to the point where Forbes is pointing that out now. I was going over an article yesterday, the 5 things wrong. Forbes wrote an article, 5 things wrong with Falcon and Winter Soldier. I was shocked to see it. And one of the things they said was the Flag Smashers were ridiculous and pointless villains. And they said they tell, they don't show way too much. And I'm like, oh shit, that's what I've been saying from the beginning. They sit around and tell us shit and they don't show us stuff. Now that could be budgetary, but for Christ, I mean, like, that trailer for Loki was so misleading. Maybe we should watch it and you tell me if this feels like the show that we've been watching. You tell me. And yes, by the way, John Papasergio says, with the announcement of F4 and the castle revealed, made me think of God Doom could be behind it, but I don't think Disney Marvel is that smart. Yeah, you forget all things Fantastic Four or anything surprise. Maybe they'll show Kang the Conqueror, maybe, because he's going to be the villain in Ant-Man, and it would make sense. But you bring in Kang, no normie's going to know who that is. I mean, if you introduce Doctor Doom, that would break the internet, and that's why it wouldn't happen. They've had opportunities to introduce the X-Men, which would break the internet, get everybody talking about your streaming service, and everybody would fucking subscribe. But no, they're too afraid to do that because they want to keep all the focus on. They don't want to change anything canonically too drastically in the TV shows because those are not as meaningful as the movies. Not as meaningful as the movies. Foxlord for $20. First time donor. Oh, thank you. Thank you. First time posting. I have been watching for 2 years now, and I just wanted to say thank you. You're welcome, Foxlord, and welcome. That's awesome. Love to hear from the lurkers out there. That is a wonderful thing. I appreciate that. I don't even want to watch Black Widow. This almost feels compulsory. I can't even say the word. Like I'm compelled, like I have to do it. It almost feels like work. Now, I'm sure I'll find some enjoyment. I find some enjoyment in anything I watch, no matter how shitty it is, whether I'm going to laugh at it or whatever. But, oh my God, Black Widow as a character. Okay. Black Widow was never that popular of a character in the comic books. She never had a long run of a solo title. She doesn't really have a seminal story to tell. There was a pretty decent Marvel Knights run, back in the early 2000s. That was okay. Her best and most prominent appearances were in fucking Daredevil. A long time ago. A long, long time ago. She's appeared here and there. But yeah, she's always been like a B, C-list character. Not terrible. Got an iconic look. Cool costume. A hot femme fatale. That's exactly what she is. She's hot. She's a femme fatale. But she's never been a big mover and shaker in Marvel. She's been around a lot of stuff. And I'm not saying I hate her or anything, but she's not like this big prominent character. Yeah, she should have had a solo movie and it would have worked 5 or 7 years ago. And as I've said before, if it was a rated R, if it was done in the style of Daredevil season 1, it would be a massive hit. It would be a massive hit. But this one's supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be funny. And the Marvel humor is, I don't find it funny anymore. So will Marvel have its first flop this year? It's hard to say. It's a strong brand. I'd say it's a possibility. I'd say it's a possibility we have two. But will the media call it a flop? Will Disney allow it to be called a flop, or are they going to make excuses? Well, for the amount of movie theaters, this is a record. For we have Inverse going out calling it the best Marvel Cinematic Universe film. Now, Inverse is full of shit. They're a garbage tier site. They have written hit pieces on individuals. I'm still looking for that TikTok. I'm a little obsessed with that. No, that's a TikTok. Another lame TikTok. Don't sign up for Zoom or TikTok, or you're going to get spied on by the Chinese government. If I'm going to get spied on, it's going to be by my government. Thank you very much. Who apparently is spying on media members now. The NSA is. It's a fucking great world we're fucking living in. Thank you, big tech. Kiss my ass. $20 super chat from Mikey Guzzler. Quentin Tarantino wants to see the Snyder Cut. I haven't seen it since I don't have HBO Max, but that's something I'd like to see. I'd be kind of curious to see his 4-hour original vision. I think it's really groovy. I love how Quentin Tarantino says he doesn't have HBO Max. That's my takeaway there, Mikey. I mean, that's cool that he's a fellow filmmaker. I'm sure they root for each other. But that's the thing. The creatives aren't fans. They generally don't watch the shit. That's why, it was very out of the ordinary that William Shatner and Spock were so into their characters, right? You had, with Star Trek, you had Patrick Stewart come out and admit he hadn't even watched all the Star Treks, only the ones he was in. And I doubt he watched all of those. He couldn't have been less interested. It was just a job to him, right? Mark Hamill is a rare exception. He was into his character because it was his legacy. He knew it was his legacy. But to most, it's just a job. To most artists and writers in comic books, they're not lifelong fans. On a rare occasion, do you find the comic book writer and artist who was an actual fan, who sat there and read as many books as we do? No danger of that happening with me. Former comic shop. By the way, I haven't said this in a while. You may have heard I used to own a comic shop in San Francisco for 10 years called the Comic Outpost, won Best of the Bay in 2009. I did, as voted on by the public. And my focus has always been the customer and the fan. I was never a comic shop that chased creative talent and needed a signing. I had some, sure. I had a handful of signings, but I was way more interested in just hanging out with the customer and talking to the customer. That was far more interesting to me. And I learned a lot in those 10 years talking to my customers. And in that, I learned that it doesn't matter what your politics are. Everybody just wanted a good story. They wanted to be entertained. They didn't want to be slapped over the head. They didn't want to be preached to. They just wanted to be entertained and inspired. And for the most part, the comic industry was doing that in 2002 and 3 to about 2012, 13. They were doing it. Stuff was creeping in for sure. But it was a fun place to be. And it's not a fun place to be. I was watching a Chris Gore video, and he said the one box that Hollywood should be concerned with checking, and I completely agree with this, is fun. When it comes to superheroes, when it comes to Star Wars, when it comes to Star Trek or anything else, fun. That is the only thing you should be concerned with. Because if you make it fun, it doesn't have to be the greatest thing in the world. It just has to be fun. People would prefer to have fun than watch some deep introspective story and character study. You make people walk out of the theater with a smile on their face And they want to go buy your soundtracks, your action figures, your fucking Big Gulp cups at 7-Eleven. They want to go see your movie again. They want a piece of that character all around them. They want to buy the Hot Toys or the Marvel Legends. They want to watch the Disney Plus series over and over again. Rewatchability is a key thing here. Loki isn't fun. It should have been the most fun thing they produced. WandaVision started out pretty fun. It did. Lost its way. Because they hired a writer who didn't know who Mephisto was. Basha K. Ali, who wrote one of the episodes for Loki, probably doesn't know who most of the Marvel Universe is. And Falcon and Winter Soldier was just drab when it should have been Lethal Weapon with superheroes. Hollywood is capable of making good stuff. They just will not right now. And I don't know if they'll get a second chance or not. Everything's becoming fragmented. It's going to be very hard to compete against us. For example, Ryan Kinnell brought this up in a Sunday live stream because I watch a lot of YouTube. I do. I watch a lot. And he's right. On Friday Night Tights, we don't need to bring up a single subject. We can talk for 4 hours. I can't even tell you half of what we talked about on Friday. And we don't need a subject, and it's turning into a thing of its own. And that is what most live streams turn into. It's not just ours exclusively. It's everybody's. You know, they'll pull up a subject, but it's the shooting the shit in between that most people like. And pretty soon, maybe that's all the entertainment people will need. It's like, I'm going to tune into a live stream Friday night, just any live stream, or Sunday, or whatever. I would recommend Friday Night Tights, but, you know, there's other days in the week, too. And that is, yes, that is us delivering the goods. Not the promise of anything. That is us actually delivering our goods on that day. And they can't compete against that. They cannot figure it out. Brie Larson is putting away YouTube for a little while, probably for good, but to focus on the Marvels, the movie she was demoted in. And it was a lot of work for her when she didn't do the editing. All she had to sit down and record. A lot of time goes into this stuff, but it's not work. It's pretty fun. Oh, that reminds me, I have a big announcement. Should I make the announcement now? Yeah, I should. Unfortunately, our good friend Az from Heel versus Babyface has been banned off Twitter. And because Twitter was boring, Perry Chan quit too. He also quit because he was tired of all the bullshit. He was just tired of all the fucking bullshit he was seeing. And yeah, it becomes a giant distraction. We were all checking in too much, so we all dialed back, and that's a good thing. Had a chat with Perry yesterday to see how he's doing. He's doing great. He's doing a great job. Nerdrotic Daily just passed 40,000 subscribers. Nerdrotic Live just passed 50,000 subscribers. And for the first time officially, a Friday Night Tights episode passed 100,000 views. 100,000 views. Now, a few of our episodes have done that, but it's based on the views on my channel, and then I uploaded it to Nerdrotic Live, and it equaled 100,000 views. So we've passed it unofficially a couple of times, but first time on this channel, officially, last episode's at last count, 101,000 views. Thank you guys so much. That means you like the show. We're going to keep doing it. Perry has been killing it with Nerdrotic Daily, so much so that I am going to bring him on full-time to Nerdrotic. So he's going to be busy, but Perry can, maybe walk away from that day job now and work for me. And work, and it's going to be a with me, work with me, not for, with. It's a partnership. So very proud to have him on. He is a good lad. He's a good guy, a tireless worker, and extremely talented editor, and a wicked, wicked sense of humor that I fucking love. So welcome, Perry. Of course, we have X-Ray Girl as well, who just got married to Mark the Cyborg. So congratulations again. To X-Ray Girl and for Mark the Cyborg for locking it down, buddy. Lock it down. You know, you can never find a cringe TikTok when you want to. What the fuck? I'm going to scroll down. So, yeah, Perry's coming on full time, and he's going to help me make content for the main channel. So I'm going to be doubling my output from like 5 videos to 10 a month, kind of like I used to, but he's going to be editing half of them. I'm going to be editing the other half, and that starts almost immediately. It's going to start almost immediately, and it's thanks to you guys. All your support I'll be able to focus more time on because I mean, I'm working, you know, doing stuff every day. Again, it's not work. It's fun. Doing stuff every single day. And I think we're going to produce some stuff that you're going to like. And we're going to, you know, I'm going to be doing, that frees me up to do some retro reviews that I've been wanting to do. I know a lot of people want me and Az to talk about Babylon 5, and we will. We most certainly will. I'm freaking loving it. I am loving it. There was a point in season 2 for me where it just hooked and it became something different. And yeah, I like it more than DS9. I do. Now I got to go back and rewatch DS9, but I think I like it more than DS9. There's something a little extra in it. Not that DS9 sucks. It doesn't suck. It's great. It's absolutely great. But man, you know, if it wasn't for everything sucking right now, I wouldn't have looked back, you know, and this is why other things are blowing up. This is why manga is destroying the American comic book industry. People are looking back. Right now, the future is the past. And Hollywood took this break. Oh, yeah. So Hollywood took this big break, and what they've had a break from is profits, but they've also had a break from bombs. Hollywood hasn't had a bomb in over a year. And they'll be able to make an excuse for the next year, folks. California, there's still like some restrictions here. Like some businesses are very insistent that you wear a mask if you aren't if you didn't get the poke. I don't think many people are abiding to that. If they are, good for them. Do what you want to do. And I am not a doctor, so whatever. I'm just really happy I go to the gym without a mask on. Medical professionals say you shouldn't ingest too much bad writing all at once. I have now seen the Tomorrow War, Loki, and Black Widow. Off to the doctor. That says Mahler. Mahler. We love. By the way, thanks to Mahler coming on the Real BBC yesterday. What a mensch that guy is. A mensch. We love Mahler. So, yeah, they haven't had a bomb in over a year, and they are due. And they straight up, like Marvel, straight up Tim Millard Black Widow. I mean, there's another fucking article out today about how anti-patriarchy it is, and men are going to squirm. And it's like, remember when Tim Miller came out and said that Terminator Dark Fate is going to scare the fuck out of misogynists? And all it did was scare the fuck out of ticket buyers. And no one went and saw his abomination that had an anti-natalist, Sarah Connor, and killed John Connor. They bothered to de-age. I'm blanking on his name now. What's his name? And brought in a de-aged Arnold to kill him in the first 2 minutes for symbolism, to show that messiahs are replaceable, especially if they're young. And it was the death of the male, what's the term for it? The male savior. They literally shot him in the chest and killed him. And that was Hollywood saying no more male saviors. In the beginning of fucking Terminator, the symbolism of shooting a 12-year-old boy. How fucking sick is that? Fucking sick. So now I understand why Tim Miller didn't direct Deadpool 2, because he's a fucking moron. I thought he did a great job with Deadpool 1. But later on, Tim Miller found a little humility, though. Ate a little humble pie. Ate a little crow. And I did get the audio and play it in a video. I'll never forget that video. Because after it came out, somebody sent me an email saying I totally lost it. And all I did was make a video of Tim Miller admitting, he's like, yeah, maybe I didn't understand the audience as much as I thought I did. Now, it was kind of a backhanded way of taking responsibility, but he took it and then tried to diss the audience. And then the guy emailed me saying I lost it. The movie wasn't that bad. My channel sucked. And then my channel blew up, but that's fine. I get those emails every day, and people can feel that way, and maybe they like the movie, and that's fine. Dark Fate was a piece of shit, though. The only thing I credit was, and I'm forgetting the actress's name. She was in Preacher. She went out and even though she did look like Justin Bieber, and it was strange, but outside of that, she went out and worked out, and she tried to yoke up for her part, just like a dude would do. And I respect that. That I respect. So she looked like Justin Bieber. She wasn't threatening, but she tried. She tried because she was a cute little girl, and they, made her very uncute and look like a boy. But at least she worked out, right? Brie Larson talks about working out, and she's doing some leg workouts, and then she pushed a Jeep on a flat surface with her back, using her legs, the strongest part of her body. Yeah, of course she can. These people. But Captain Marvel is in shape, athletic. That's basically built like a female soccer player, maybe. Athletic. Where we got Captain Marvel, the other Captain Marvel from WandaVision. I mean, come on. She didn't even try. WG with a $100 super chat. Thank you, WG. I appreciate you. That's very generous. You guys are freaking amazing. You're amazing. You are more amazing than Sylvie. Hail, Gary and Nooners. Here's a little donation. Little, it's not little. For the new dot matrix printer and foam palm rest you had your eyes on. Only the best top line production equipment for you, sir. P.S. You may not like it, but they are indeed, and you are indeed an influencer. Keep it up and preach on. Oh, thank you, WG. I will never take that title. But thank you. I appreciate the sentiment. Thank you very much. You're great. Swinging Cod for $5 says, now you have issues with EVS at the moment, but what are your thoughts? No. I said now, but it's no. So let me restart this. No, you have issues with EVS at the moment. I do. But what are your thoughts on Keown making a new pit with CG and all caps? I think Dale Keown's a great creator. And I loved Pit. That was my second favorite book at Image. The only problem with Pit was Pit didn't come out. It didn't come out. it took a long time, but when it did, it was fucking great. And Dale Keown's work on Hulk was masterful. Now, the Todd McFarlane run and the Sal Buscema, or I never knew how to pronounce his last name. I used to call him Sal Buscema, but I think it's Buscema. Sal Buscema's run is my favorite. Todd McFarlane's my second favorite. My third favorite is Dale Keown's. But yeah, it's a good grab. It's a good grab. I don't have issues. Swinging Cod. I don't have issues with other content creators. Things may happen that I don't like, and I generally keep it to myself. The reason I keep it to myself is it's not important. It's not important for what I'm trying to do here on this channel. And whether I'm upset at something or I feel like somebody's doing something duplicitous or underhanded or disingenuous, whatever that thing may be, I get over it like that. I move past it. I don't hang on to resentments. It's not how I live my life. And I also don't want to bring any harm to that channel, whether I'm mad or not mad or don't want anything to do with them. It doesn't matter. I just remove it. I edit it out of my life. If something becomes a distraction, if something gets in my way, I just remove it. It's easy to do. I don't need to get into any stupid online drama or it's just, I'm 50 fucking 1 years old. I have been to prison. I don't care what people say on their live streams. I don't care what they say on fucking Twitter. It's meaningless to me. It is a fart in the wind. I am moving forward, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. And I'm not going to get down in the mud and sacrifice or my integrity or waste my time getting involved in that shit. If people want to get involved, that's cool. If they're entertained by that thing, that's cool. Hey, listen, I've taken in my share of drama, but I'm definitely not going to participate in it because what it does is it gets you guys squabbling. And as I said in my Super Chat Square Up, everything I've done is try to keep that from happening because when you guys are squabbling and we're squabbling, then the fucking BBC's happy. CBS is happy. Disney is happy. Our detractors are happy. I don't like making them happy. That's not my fucking job. Their job is to entertain me, and my job is to entertain you. And that shit is not entertaining. And I think the data has proven that time and time again. Please enjoy whatever channel you want. And if sometimes the overall message has to be the most important thing. We're not all going to agree with each other. We're all not going to like each other. I don't know most of them. People can say what they want about me. Like they can make fucking videos. I'm not going to respond. I don't care. But when they try to go after like my friends, that's when it gets irritating. That's when I start getting irritated. But if I'm going to do anything and I'm going to say anything, it will be directly to them in a DM or an email. And that's only if I care enough. And right now I don't. So I apologize. I'm sorry that you guys ever have to deal with that stuff. And it seems like there are content creators out there insistent on keeping you guys fighting. I'm not going to partake in that at all. It's childish. Hardwick Benthau for $2. Did you read my email Black Widow postmortem yet? If not, please remember to read it before you make your review of the movie. I did read it, Hardwick, and I have to see the movie. So I'll keep that in context, but I absolutely did read it, and I will keep it in mind, and I appreciate you sending it. It was very well thought out, and I think I agree with it. You see, it's the agenda is derailing everything. I think a lot of people want to know the why. Why are they doing it? Do they really believe in this? Do they really believe in these, frankly, Marxist beliefs? A giant billion-dollar multinational corporation buying into Marxism. I think some corporations are. I think the others are in fear. But I think Disney buys into it. I do. I think Disney is a foul, evil corporation. And if they went out of business tomorrow, I wouldn't shed a fucking tear. They have destroyed a couple of things that I love for good. For good. And I know there is, I don't want to dash hope. When I see hope, I'll bring it to you. I think overall we can win. I think we're going to lose all of our franchises, though. We might be able to save one. It's a possibility. Anything's a possibility. I can't see, even when money, with the American companies, money will become a factor. They can only keep up this charade for so long. And it's a charade, folks. It's kind of like the real estate charade. I was just watching a video on this. There's a big charade going on in New York. You know, the rents haven't come down for businesses, yet there is empty building after empty spot after empty space everywhere. Yet the rents haven't come down yet. Why? Because all of the corporations are colluding together to keep the rents up so they don't lose property value, and the owners of apartments and stuff don't lose value. But it's a charade. They can't keep it up forever. It's going to come down. Things always do. All you have to do is wait for it to come back up. And it would probably be better for it to drop right now, drop the rents, and actually rent the building. But no, they would rather keep their building empty than rent it for a cheaper amount per square foot. But right now they're charging like $300 per square foot, and some of those locations are like $75,000 a month in what? Empty fucking New York? New York might not bounce back from this. San Francisco, I got to keep this quiet because I'm trying to sell a house in San Francisco, but it's not bouncing back either. There was an article that came out. There was a poll of San Franciscans, and 40% are planning on moving. Not 5%, not 10%, not 20%, 40%. One of the reasons is crime. Specifically, robberies have gone up 700%. 700%. Moving down to this house in San Diego, one of the smartest things we've ever done. Yeah, it's expensive. Now I don't have the money to do this, but I'm the fuck out of there. Okay, so where was I? Yes. So the why with the agenda. Well, Disney, the fix is in, folks. So there is no difference between corporation and government now. I guess that's real fucking fascism, right? Or one facet of it. And we have the corporations doing the government's will. And it has affected all the things we love. And it is important to society. Our culture is very important. For one, it's a sign of a comfortable, well-off society. And things were good for a long, long time. I mentioned, in this country, at a four-way stop in the middle of nowhere without a cop in sight, most of us will stop at that stop sign. We don't need to. There's no other cars coming. There's no cops. There's not a cloud in the sky. You're at a four-way stop and nobody's there for fucking miles. Why are you stopping? Why are you stopping? Because it says stop. And it's the safe thing to do. And you want to stay in that habit. You want to stay in the habit of stopping at a stop sign so you don't run somebody over, get yourself killed in a car accident, or get a ticket. You stay in the habit of being a good citizen, of respecting the law, of respecting society. Stopping in that stop sign in the middle of the nowhere is respecting society. It's not bending the knee. It's respecting your fellow man. It's like there are some rules in place that I am going to follow no matter what, because I want our society to progress. And it's as simple as stopping at a four-way stop in the middle of fucking nowhere. Well, less people are stopping at that stop sign now. because the mask has come off of a lot of people who called themselves social democrats or socialists. And now they're just, oh yeah, I'm communist. Yeah, we knew that. And they just want this shit to burn. And there's a lot of us, the vast majority of us, don't. We think, hey, it ain't perfect, but I'm not going to burn down society because a few people aren't happy. There's always going to be people that aren't happy, and they're never going to find that happiness from a government. And this is where it goes to entertainment. Now we have people looking for happiness through their entertainment. They need their entertainment to represent them. They need to be fixed. And this is a mentality that needs to be broken, like right away, especially when you have this mentality and you're over, say, the age of 16. Because that's when I realized, oh, shit, I am the master of my own happiness, my own misery. And it took me many, many years to figure out that I could just flip the switch on that stuff. There's a bunch of baggage I don't need to carry around. What we're teaching people now is carry around your baggage. Be proud of your baggage. Put your baggage in your fucking bio on Twitter. And now we're making entertainment for this. And no wonder why it's absolute fucking garbage. TC, I appreciate your policy on drama. When necessary, direct resolution. You as a drinker are the reason I found this world and stayed. Oh, why, thank you, TC. And yeah, I mean, I think that's most content creators' philosophy on it. I mean, everybody deals with it the same way. And the thing is, it could just go on forever. And there is truth, reality, and then there's optics. And a lot of times those are two different things. And like I said before, there are certain principles I'm not going to fucking throw away to play some game. Better things to do. Hail, Gary, you entertain me. Thank you. You are the dude. Why, thank you, Stephen T, for £5. I appreciate that. You guys are brilliant. Thank you. Jason, the mostly average. You're not mostly average to me. For $5, I equate the issues with Disney, etc., is like Moneyball. They can squeeze all the money out of a lime, but all that is left is a hollowed out corpse. Ah, that is a great analogy. That is an absolutely great analogy. It's a sports ball analogy, but it's one I understand because I used to be very much into sports. And I was a bit of an A's fan. And I did believe in the Moneyball for a little while until you realized what it was. Fan Dad met us for £4.99. Bought Invaders #9 today after seeing yours on the Nooner. Keep those suggestions coming, brother. And all hail the nerds. Yes, I love the Invaders. It was a simple little comic book. It was the pre-Avengers. It was like the Justice Society of Marvel. So it was the World War II heroes. You had Human Torch and Toro. So the original Human Torch was an android, and he had a sidekick named Toro. And there was Namor. There was Captain America, and sometimes Lady Liberty was there. And they fought things like fucking Nazi vampires. And then Union Jack showed up. And Union Jack, absolutely one of my favorite superheroes, because he had the best costume. He just had the best costume. Swinging Cod, though, back to you, Swinging Cod. It's okay to ask the question. Nothing against you at all, and thank you for asking the question. You're a good dude. It's all good. Thank you for the $5. And I wish them all the best. I want all of those channels to succeed. I want them to succeed in their ventures. I want them to because I think the independent market is important. And we need to bring more focus on it. As a matter of fact, people have been on my butt to bring attention to independent film. That is a tall order. That is a tall order. That would be pretty time consuming, but I'll do what I can. Because there is a lot of independent film out there that is trying to buck trends. And I guess, if it's good, we need to support it. But bottom line is the shit has to be good. I'm not just going to support something because it's independent. I'll be much nicer to it. I will. I'll be much more helpful and nicer, but it's got to be good. Moons of Madness, thank you for the $1.49. I appreciate it. Swinging Cod for $5 says, I think your boy Zach is nuts launching this new Knife Hands book. I've backed most of his stuff, but he is 4 books behind on delivery. Can't make it 5. Yeah, I've talked to Richard a couple of times via email. Seems like a very nice dude. He's part of the reason I'm here. He's one of my inspirations for this. See, the thing is to not get to take envy and flip it around to inspiration. I get inspired. When I see good content, I get inspired. It makes me want to make stuff. And not to compete. It's just like, oh, I like this. Let's do this. Let's make more of it. I don't need to be as good. I don't need to be better. I don't need to be right. But it's fun. And I think I've got something to say, and I'm going to say something. I'll add to the conversation. I am not my subscribers. I am not my followers. You are not something to be weaponized. You are not something to be mobilized. You are not my courier service. You're not my email service, and you're not my ATM. I said that the last live stream, and I mean it now. We are fans. This is a conduit, a place where you guys can come and talk to each other and hang out and be entertained, hopefully for a little while. Not everybody sees it like that, though. But see, as a grown-ass man, I am capable of contacting people myself. Your boy, Zach, I think, is an entrepreneur. And I think what he helped start with the Indiegogo thing was huge. But I think it's okay to come out and speak your mind on this stuff and say what needs to be said, because that will help move things forward. And if people hear what you guys are saying, like actually internalize and listen what you're saying and not get their defenses up, because their defenses are going to get up. I don't think your boy Zach is like that. I think he understands that if we're going to take money and we're going to call out the comic book industry, then we need to produce. And some people have. Some people have produced on time and produced quality work. And that is good. That is good. That's what needs to happen as much as possible. I'll tell you from the comic shop owner perspective, and I talked about this last Monday, the one thing that would get me the least interested in a book, I don't care how fucking good it was it not coming out. I spoke of Jim Lee's Wildcats #1 with freaking Grant Morrison. That's the only book we saw. We talked about Jim Lee's All-Star Batman and Robin with Frank Miller. Took us years to get 12. Jon Favreau, Viva Las Vegas, Iron Man, still waiting on issue #3. Never going to see it. There's a bunch of unfinished series out there, and there's nothing more frustrating. The Ultimates, which should have been like the best-selling comic book of fucking all time, wasn't, because it was late all the time. It still sold a buttload of issues, and it maintained its audience, but it didn't grow it. And the reason it didn't fucking grow it is because it didn't come out. It came out fucking once every 4 months. And then, it's a 24-page book. You're done reading it in 20 minutes, and then you wait 4 more months. And that means you got to read through all the books again, which is fine because it was good. But these are comics we're talking about. They don't have endings. So they need to give you some closure on something before it moves to the next thing. And Mark Millar has a very hard time pulling that trigger. Now, when he ends a story, definitively he's good. But as far as keeping that momentum going like they do in comic books, not very good. You know who was really fucking good at that? John Byrne, Dave Cockrum, Roger Stern. Stan Lee. Roy Thomas. But I'm not going to give unsolicited advice. Those guys know what they're doing. The most important thing is to remember that we have to listen to you. How did Comicsgate start? By the way, Comicsgate was a term coined by the Access Media to them. How did it start? It was a consumer movement. Doug Ernst, Englentine, Just Some Guy, Comics Division, Captain Cummings, Richard. Richard was the voice. He never wanted to be the voice. He was never seen as the leader, but he was. He was the biggest channel. He was the most influential. He was the target. And it was just purely reviewing comics, ripping, fucking America Chavez. It was fucking great YouTube. Richard would do his live streams with a comic book in his lap, and you get these crotch shots all the time in his fucking white socks. And it was fun. I was there for all of it. I was there in the chats for all of it. But then it changed. It evolved. It is what it is now. And I think for a little bit, Marvel did change. They did. DC Rebirth was great. It didn't need to change. It was fine. But then things got worse again. We all took a giant step back in 2020 with the BLM riots. We all did, because that's what scared the shit out of entertainment. That's what set us back to 2016. That's what made the woke crowd all of a sudden get a little confidence, because we were beating them fucking down. We were beating them down in 2019. We were fucking winning until we weren't, because we took our eye off the prize with Star Wars. The Mandalorian was the little jangling fucking keys in our face, and Disney Star Wars went back to being Disney Star Wars. And the rest of it was the BLM riots. The BLT rioting over the murder of Pink Floyd. And you know what distracted us? Drama. But it doesn't distract me. Glad you're liking B5. I can only say her name when I hear it. Ivanova. Ivanova is a great character, as are the magnificent Londo and Jakar. Jakar is my favorite by far. Has one of the best fucking arcs. It's tragic, but it's also a man, an alien, coming to that very difficult answer that we do in recovery, that we have to let go of shit, of really hard shit. We have to let go of being wronged in some of the worst possible ways, because that is the only way we can move forward. And Jakar understands that. And I was like, that's what hit me. That was like the emotional hook that got me, was Jakar basically having to let go that his entire race got fucked over and almost completely killed. Like, it was almost genocide. And he has to stand next to the person who perpetuated that almost genocide and let it go. And part of it was getting into that person's head and understanding that person and being empathetic, and it was like beautiful. It was beautiful. It's great storytelling. It's fucking like it does read like a fantasy science fiction novel. Swinging Cod for $10, and thank you 200 Watt Studios for $5. Swinging Cod for $10. The post-galactic Storm Avengers run with Widow was the leader of the island of misfit Avengers: Black Knight, Thunderstrike, Thor, Shaved Herc, Cersei, and Lombardo Vision. Was a good arc for her. It was. It very much so. She had good arcs, but no seminal. But she is definitely a fixture in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I would have given her like she's too grounded. I would like to see her stick to walls and fucking shoot her little, her stinger thing, her more. That would be more superhero-y. The thing is, if you're going to go grounded, now that you've gone galactic, grounded superheroes, you need to raise their stakes. And quite frankly, the only way you can do that is by being more violent. They need a better foil, a better villain. A hero is only as good as his villain. And what made Daredevil the greatest thing Marvel has ever produced? They had a villain that was just as good as the hero. As compelling. One you rooted for at moments, but absolutely against. Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin. It's Heath Ledger Joker good. I said it. Pronounced Moran. Jason Moran. Thank you for the $5. Says, Hail Gary, hate to ask but how was the Tolkien diversity seminar? I am still waiting. I've got a written down breakdown. I'm waiting for video. It's very elusive. That's what it is. I couldn't wake up at 7 a.m. and watch it on the weekends because I was up late. And I wanted to spend time with my son, and I figured I could find video of it. And apparently it's like finding a fucking unicorn. But once I get it, which might be tonight, I will let you know. I'll probably make a video and we'll talk about it on hopefully Friday Night Tights. If we get some video by Friday Night Tights, we can all go over it together. But some of the stuff I read was, it was rationalization. It was all like absolute fucking rationalization. Putting shit into Tolkien that just didn't exist, nor would he be okay with it. And they are really trying to push that Tolkien would have been pro this and pro that. And, Willis, I can't say that because I wasn't there. But there is nothing specific that he has said that I know of that says he was pro intersectional feminism, pro transgender. It's probably not even something he even thought about. I doubt it crossed his mind. Excellent point about Loki. Will not watch because it's not fun. Will, however, watch Nerdrotic being endlessly entertaining. Aw, thanks, Stephen D, for $4.99. I appreciate that. Galaxy Express Media for $10. They only claim to be fans of a property to get the job, and while they are employed, and then they crap on it after they are out. Yeah, kind of like Scarlett Johansson's doing. Drinker made a great point in his video. Scarlett Johansson is pushing the date of no return, the age of no return, 40, which means she's going to be an aunt, a teacher, a mentor, but like sexy Scarlett days are over. They're over. And listen, Hollywood's built on sex. I want to see attractive people solving problems or beating the shit out of things. I don't need to see regular folks. I see them all the time. I see one when I look in the mirror, especially when I see a superhero. I want to see a really insanely, stupidly muscly guy and a really insanely hot fucking athletic girl. And the girls think the guys are hot. No, whatever. And whoever, if it's the same team, that's fine too. And I want to see them fighting a ridiculous villain that's evil, that just wants to destroy shit. That's what I want. That She-Ra model should be She-Hulk or Titiana. J-Lo Flicks for $2. Yeah. Sign her up. Cosplayer, as much as, listen, I'm not the biggest fan of the cosplay, but they are better costume designers than most of Hollywood, without a doubt. And it's an art form. I see it as an art form, but I think cosplay is a lot of what brought the fake geek girl into fandom. And the fake geek guy. Hi, Gary. Check out the YouTube channel Dust. Some really good sci-fi shorts there. There is a great one with Paul Rubens. Ooh, I'll have to check that out. Thank you, Flex Honcho. Andre Medelski for 100 Czechoslovakian pesos. Hail, Gary. Didn't catch you yesterday live on the stream, so here for you again. I'm here for you again and for some support. And thanks for the hand tattoo tips. You are welcome. And thanks for watching that. Yeah, on hand tattoos, simple. Very simple, because you don't have a lot of space. So that's why, Seal of Rassilon was good. And then I'm going to get the Guild of Calamitous Intent from Venture Brothers on this one. And that'll probably be my last tattoo. Because is there anything more pathetic than a 52-year-old getting a tattoo? I'll let you watch Them, 1954, instead of Black Widow if you want. Says Space Dinosaur for 5. I have to watch it. It's a write-off. It's okay. And like I said, even with shitty movies, going to the theater is a fun experience. Especially this will be my first time to the theater since the lockdown. So, smelling the popcorn, going in there, it's going to be good. Quentin Tarantino wants to, I read that one. Mr. Dustin Anderson. I think Loki has his memories wiped and sent back to Earth after the escaped, recaptured, and the MCU continues on as if nothing happened. Yes, I think that might happen to the variant. Well, the variant is still there. They must have gone and pruned that timeline. We never saw them go back and prune the timeline. No, we did. But the question has to be asked. He picked up the Tesseract, traveled through space and time, and ended up in the desert of China or Mongolia, right? Did he travel in space and time? So did they prune the right timeline? Did they prune the timeline he came from? Because the answer would be no. Did they think about it this much? I doubt it, but we'll see. Robert Downey Sr. has died today, says Sean Culligan for $5. May he rest in peace. Robert Downey Jr.'s papa died. He was 85 years old. We lost Richard Donner a couple days ago. Rest in peace, guys. Guys, watch Mega Bloks Season 2, Nomad. They perfectly added Latinos without being forced. They are intertwined in the story, which takes place in Japan. Says Daniel. Well, that's how you add characters, by just doing it, Daniel. Thank you for the $5. Let's not talk about it. If there is a story that takes place in the modern age that has a Filipino gal and a Latino guy and a white guy and a black dude, and it takes place in fucking Czechoslovakia, I don't need much explanation. I don't. That seems pretty real to me. It's when you see it's checked off, and it's not only checked off, then they bring up their race. It gets brought up immediately. Nobody talks like that. Nobody fucking talks about representation at the, Jeremy brings this up. Nobody goes to fucking Target and looks at the cashiers and goes, there is not enough male representation with the cashiers at Target. Nobody fucking talks about that. Nobody goes to a construction site and talks about female representation at the construction site. It's all bullshit. It's all for show. It's all fucking theater. And part of what we do is cut through the bullshit, break the narrative. That's an important thing. And I'm going to hammer this one home. That's why we can't be the ones creating narratives. That's why we can't distract from what we're doing. You see, I don't have a mission statement. I didn't start this channel going, I'm going to change the world. I'm going to be an influencer. No, I just hey, I started doing this because I missed the comic shop. I missed talking about pop culture and superheroes and comic books all day because I got to do it for 10 years. And I'm like, this is the best way to do it. And it's been great. It's been just like being at the store. I mean, it's not like I did a ton of work at the store. I rang some people up while I was bullshitting. That's pretty much all I did all day. Well, I did carry a lot of short and long boxes and alphabetize a fuckload of comic books and I got to eBay professionally for a long, which was great. But yeah, I didn't start this channel to change the world or get involved in the culture war, but here I am. Here we are. And what I'm trying to do is reach the most people possible, not just those of you on the right, although you're welcome here. And let's face it, the people, our conservative friends, our Republican friends, our Catholic friends, our Christian friends aren't welcome in a lot of places. They're the most unwelcome in this new inclusive world. So they are more than welcome here to talk about what they like. But I'm trying to reach everyone and trying to find common ground, which is really difficult these days because everything is so fucking divided. But I am, the one thing that gives me hope is I know the vast majority of you practice common sense. You're good people. You want the best. You don't want to, none of us want any harm to come to anybody. But we're also not the ones throwing out threats, labeling people, trying to silence people, trying to marginalize people, or calling people marginalized. I'm so sorry you're marginalized and you're not capable of voting or operating a cell phone to get to those things called applications. We're so sorry you're so ignorant that you can't figure these things out. Let us help you. We're your friends. Insomniac 101 for 5 Canadian pesos. Don't you think a better would have been just Morbius, just chasing Loki through different time periods? Forget the Lady Loki and the TVA. Yeah. See, the Lady Loki actress, I don't have anything against her either. They just wrote her like shit. And it's now every fucking thing Marvel makes. Every boss that is, it's a tell, by the way. You're not supposed to have these tells. Every boss that's going to be good and competent is female. And every boss that's going to be bad is male. So we know that girl boss in this will either be competently evil or good in the end. And that's the way it's trending, unless she's the one behind the whole thing, which could be a possibility. I don't know. But she's not compelling. She's not a very good actress. And these are cardboard cutouts interacting with each other and distracting us from Loki, who's a guest star in his own show. With the announcement of Fantastic Four and the castle revealed, made me think of God Doom could be behind it. Oh, yeah, I read that one. Well, they've only announced Fantastic Four. Kevin Feige has said they will not be announcing casting anytime soon. The movie is 5 years away. And I think they're actually waiting for this woke bullshit to pass so they can cast a comic-accurate Fantastic Four. But you made this bed, Kevin Feige. You got to fucking lay in it. And we're going to get an all-black Fantastic Four, an all-Filipino Fantastic Four, or a mixed-up Fantastic Four, but we ain't getting a Jack Kirby white Fantastic Four. There's no reason that says we can't. You're not marginalizing anybody. But this is literally the fucking narrative that they've spun now. If Kevin Feige casts Jack Kirby and Stan Lee's Fantastic Four accurately, he will be called a racist and a white supremacist. Like I said, this is your fucking bed, bruh. You made it. You lie in it. I fear that Kevin Feige is now another Kathleen Kennedy. We are looking like at a woke disaster incoming. Us Cushing for $4.99. That's exactly what I said in the beginning of the live stream. Kevin Feige has become Kathleen Kennedy. I know there's going to be some, what? He has. Now, I'm a little early on this because there's no data because Marvel hasn't had a flop. But guess what? Anybody who doubts that, let's talk in about 7 months. Let's talk in about 7 months. And I'm not talking about money. I'm not talking about money. The content we get, is it going to be universally loved? Or is it going to be critics love it, fans hate it, Marvel stans are going to defend it? USS Cushing, thank you for the $4.99. Projects done poorly for $5. Your comments on how Kevin Feige's sacrifices to the Owl God are why I subscribe. Love the content. Ah, yes. Alex Jones is filming Kevin Feige doing a mock sacrifice to Moloch at Bohemian Grove. I think we got Kevin Feige there with the Bilderbergers. Fucking love Alex Jones. I want to interview Alex Jones. Can I do that? Think he'd come on? Do you know I was on, it was Modalicious, I believe. Was it 200 Watt Studio or Modalicious? One, I'm forgetting now. So you're both are great guys. But one of you sent me video that I made it on an InfoWars thing, like a clip from one of my videos. I was like, whoa. People complain on Twitter. Say it ain't so, Gary. Fat Steven Seagal. Chris Gokor. Chris Gokor, what the fuck? For 2 Canadian pesos. Man, Steven Seagal is fucking fat. Wow. He is fucking fat. But you're not Fat Steven Seagal. Sci Media for $5. And thank you. Thank you for the 2 Canadian pesos. Sci Media for $5. I just started an astronomy channel in English, Sci-Fi Media EN. I have been getting success in Spanish. Oh, that's good. You have been an inspiration, Gary. Thank you. Excellent. Sci Media. I love to hear that shit. I love hearing you guys being excited about making your videos and making your content and not complaining about it. It's fucking great. It's the way it should be. John Long for $5. Gary, this is old, but when you streamed with Phil Morris, did he give you an update on more missing episodes? Some people think he is a hoarder. No, he's not a hoarder. I will try to get him on. We're discussing doing another Fury of the Whovians very, very soon, and we'll see if we can get him on. But last time we spoke, no. He ain't holding back. That guy's gotten a lot of shit for talking to me and supporting RIP Doctor Who and just calling out Doctor Who, period, and talking to the people he's talking to. He's gotten a lot of shit. But not much, because the Doctor Who fandom, the Jodie bots, is dwindling to nothing. To nothingness. Sky Jumper 12 for $50. $50. A 4th of July, at 4th of July cookouts, my family was talking about these shows. I just said, why watch and support trash? Stop giving them money, and hopefully they'll take the hint. They said, what else is there to watch? Good, old, great movies. Hashtag Hail Friday Night Tights and Hail Friends. Yeah. For the price of 200 streaming services, you can get a 4K projector for like $1,000. If you don't need a 4K projector, you can get a high def projector for $200-$300. That's not even a TV. It's a projector, and that's all you need. You hook your computer up to it, and you can watch shit on your wall, or you get one of those screens. You don't need a fucking TV. You can buy DVDs and fucking Blu-rays, you know, the DVDs and the Blu-rays and their action figures that they're collecting. And just watch those. They're cheap. Shit. DVDs are dirt cheap now. And just get physical media and watch old shit all day long. Or just get one streaming service or do a la carte. Like Prime is probably the best. You can a la carte Prime. You can rent there. They've got plenty to choose from. I mean, I fucking hate Amazon, and I try not to give them business, but I mean, as far as one streaming service is concerned, I'd say Amazon's probably the best now. Netflix is fucking useless. Plus, they have cuties. Cold Whispers for $20. Thank you. They are trying to kill our heroes and hopes so that we feel there is nothing to hope for and that we would conform to them. Also, hail Gary. Hope all is well. Keep up the awesome work. Love your streams. Thank you, Cold Whispers. I appreciate it. I appreciate $20. They will keep destroying our heroes until they have a flop, right? So what Skyjumper was just saying there is, I mean, it's on everybody, so I'm not elevated above you or below. I'm a fan. So us fellow fans, we are still subscribed to certain streaming services. We are still supportive. Now, I am not subscribed to Disney Plus, but I did buy my tickets for Black Widow. I could have snuck in. No, I'll buy my ticket. I got a matinee. I made it cheap as possible. And it looks very much like I'm going to be ripping it. But if it's good, I'll admit it. It's okay. But it looks like I'm going to be ripping it. But for the rest, for the most part, I'm not giving them any money. Nothing. I am not supporting them in any way, shape, or form. And that's what we have to do. They need a flop. Don't go to this movie. Do any of you have the urge to see Black Widow anyway? Like, you know what? Wait a week. Don't give them that big first box office. Yeah, boycotting. If we want things to change, we got to boycott. I don't have the power to get one going, but yeah, you need to like not give them money as much as possible. I think on the grand scheme of things, me paying for that ticket, I'll be able to get my message out, and it will probably keep more people from supporting this stuff in the future. Not necessarily this movie, but supporting this stuff in the future if they want to continue down this road. I would love, look at this. No. Nope. I love it. Oh yeah. Hang on. Can we see the chat? Yes, we can. Good. That is good. Well done. Yeah, I don't have a desire to see this movie. If I didn't have a channel, I'd be skipping it. I'd be skipping this entire fucking year. Because if I didn't have a channel, I'd want to preserve the goodness in my head. Because it does affect it. I've seen The Last Jedi. I've seen The Force Awakens. I keep putting out The Last Jedi, but to me, The Force Awakens is just as fucking bad as The Last Jedi. They are equally as bad. I have seen these things. I can't unsee them. So if Disney comes out and says, we're erasing everything tomorrow, we're going to start a new path, it probably wouldn't be enough. Now, if Disney came out and apologized on top of that and hired Gina Carano on top of that, I might be open to it. But here's how Disney is going to one day erase the Disney trilogy. I do think one day that's going to happen. They're also, at the same time, going to erase the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy because they're going to remake the entire thing because that's the last thing. That's their last card to play. I've been saying that on this channel since day one. Since day fucking one. Disney is going to remake the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, and the Disney trilogy. They might make it a big, long television series event that's on Disney Plus. That might culminate in, they could make it TV show and a movie at the same time. They could remake it and make all kinds of fucking money off this. Oh, there'll be a black Luke Skywalker, and there'll be a female of color Han Solo. They'll even change the sex of Yoda. Fuck it. The Emperor will be a woman. Yeah, they'll fucking remake it. They will. I promise you this is going to happen. Do they wait till after George passes? Maybe. That's an argument I'm open to, but I think they might be open to doing it before he passes. It depends on how desperate they get. Rogue Squadron excites absolutely fucking no one outside of Star Wars fans. No one. It's no different than if Marvel made a ROM movie. Marvel fans would fucking love it. ROM, Space Knight, fuck yeah. And the normies would go, what? That's what Rogue Squadron speaks directly to the base. But then that's the base they pissed off. That's the EU base. You know, Patty Jenkins said all the right things. She said all the right things before Wonder Woman 1984, a movie that she wrote where Wonder Woman raped a guy, and she didn't even see anything morally wrong with that, and neither did the producers, the editors, the assistant editors, the assistant producers, the executive producers, and I don't know, the people who rated the fucking movie. Everybody missed it except for the human beings who actually watched it. So no, we saw this shit. I saw The Timeless Children. So if the BBC came out and said, we're going to erase all that and we're going to keep Jodie around. Nope. You ruined it. The minute the Doctor regenerated into a female, it was ruined. It was absolutely ruined because you didn't believe in a female either. See, the BBC didn't believe in a female actress either. If they did, they would have written her like a female. They would have hired the best possible showrunner who would have hired the best possible writers. If this was such a popular decision, why didn't Russell T. Davies write a female Doctor episode? Why didn't Stephen Moffat write a female Doctor episode? Why didn't Neil fucking virtue signaling Gaiman come back and write a female Doctor episode? Because they knew it wouldn't work. They're all a bunch of fucking phonies, fucking hypocrites. Why did they get soap opera writers? Because nobody was going to touch this shit. They couldn't find anybody. That's why they hired soap opera writers, and the same thing is happening with Star Trek. Well, it's a little different. Kurtzman won't hire people because he's a fraud. That guy's a giant fucking fraud. Have you guys heard of what's happening with Star Trek behind the scenes? They're hiring think tanks to get ideas. And then this is all speculation. By the way, this is my speculation, scuttlebutt. Some of it mixed in with my opinion. But what I've heard is they're hiring little think tanks. They steal their fucking ideas, in my opinion. They don't see it as theft. I do, but it's my opinion. And then they don't pay them sometimes. And they run the set like a little dictatorship, and that sweet little Michelle Paradise is actually like a giant biatch. Oh, and they fired Walter Mosley. Yeah. But Anson Mount said they're almost done filming Strange New Worlds. Don't think it's coming out this year. Yeah, so these things are fucking done. Marvel is the one thing that could be saved even with this shitty year. If Spider-Man's good, and I don't think Doctor Strange was going to be good, and they fucked it up. But what do they have beyond that? They are not going to recast Chadwick Boseman. Like, Feige came out and said that at the investor meeting. So now they can't. Well, they're fucked. That's dumb. I'm sorry Chadwick Boseman died. It's tragic, and I thought he was a good Black Panther, but you absolutely need to recast the role. What are you, fucking crazy? What, never going to make Joker movies again because Heath Ledger died? Fuck no. All right, so as we head into Marvel Phase 4, the MCU, I could spend the rest of my year saying I told you so. But, I mean, honestly, you guys know, too. I would be talking to the people who were doubting me. You guys weren't doubting me because you knew, because you've read the comic books. You are my fellow nerds. So you were of the same mind. You came to the same conclusions exactly when I did. that this shit sucks. It's the MCU. It's filled with intersectional feminism. Well, that's not anything I ever want to fucking watch or hear about. I would like to see men and women working together equally, but we haven't seen that yet because intersectional feminism needs to degrade the male. Well, fuck that. Let's see the person who the Bechdel test is named after. I'm not going to make any comments about her appearance or anything. I'm just going to show you a picture. Go. Creator of the Bechdel test. The Bechdel test, also known as the Bechdel-Wallace test, is a measure of representation of women in fiction. It asks whether a work features at least two women who talk to each other about something other than a man. The requirement that the two women must be named is something that's added. According to user-edited databases and the media industry press, about half of all films meet this criteria. Passing or failing the test is not necessarily indicative of how well women are represented on any specific work. Rather, the test is used as an indicator for the active presence of women in the entire field of film and other fiction, and to call attention to gender inequality, not inequity, but maybe they want to change that. I don't know. In fiction, media industry studies indicate that films that pass the Bechdel test perform better financially than those that do not. Suspiciously, there is no link to that information. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. There is that statement right here. Oh, by the way, Alison Bechdel is the author of the 1985 comic strip Dykes to Watch For. Media industry studies indicate that films that pass the test perform better financially than those that do not. Yet there's links all over this thing. Link. Right, even a link to Dykes to Watch Out For. But there's no link to this statement. Bullshit. Unless you're applying it to Marvel movies, which are the only movies that make fucking money right now. That's what Marvel is bending the knee to. Not to comic book fans, to people who fucking hate this shit. People who hate us. Stargate 404. Have you seen F9? No. Takes the girl is the key to everything to a whole new level. Reminds me of P-Card. Yeah, I'm not going to see F9. I am not going to see F9. But thank you, Stargate 404. Thank you for watching it so I don't have to. Oh, well, of course, Loki is the girl who is the key to everything. Anyway, by the way, did I not mention in the Loki review that we found out that the key is Sylvie? Sylvie is the key because she's the one lone female Loki, which makes her smarter, better, the bestest ever. Roof Korean is based for $5. Hollywood hubris. They must think customers will eventually be forced to consume soon. Friday night type guest suggestion. Asmongold. Is that what it's called? Asmongold. Talk Blizzard, Activision, decline. Yeah, we could. I know shit about. I mean, I used to play Diablo, and I know about the decline of Blizzard. That's like Az's territory. I could talk about the MCU decline, but yeah, I'm open to it. I mean, if we talk about all the pop culture, I don't mind sitting out some of the video game stuff. I try to put in where I can, but I just don't know anything. And it's called Loki, says John Papa Sergio for $2.99, and that's what it is. That's what it is. And he's a guest star in his own fucking show. Space Dinosaur for $5. I got the kitchen sink collection of Cadillacs and dinosaurs. That's a good fucking, that's fun. That's a fun comic, and I like it. Fun. Just a little bit of help with your move. Thank you, Stone Dog 1971. I appreciate it. Captain Caboose for, did I read this one? Yeah, I did. But thank you again for the $50, Captain Caboose. And I read that. Got to refresh. Gray Ghost for $3. I just saw a comicbook.com headline in my Google feed that says DC just brought a fan favorite Arrowverse character into the comics. And immediately my first thought was, I wonder which woman they got. And I was right. It was a woman. Sign of the times. Oh, yeah. I don't know if you all watched the investor meeting. I rewatched the Marvel portion of it, and it's all MCU. It's all MCU all the time. Hardwick Benthau for $1, and this is on the donation side, by the way. You can super chat or Streamlab donations or just watch. That's fine too. I'm happy to see Perlmutter finally get some love. I've been trying to spread the word for 3 years that he saved the MCU from going woke until Feige and Iger got rid of him. Ragnarok and Homecoming was when I knew things were going downhill. You're right. Kevin Feige wanted the MCU to be more woke, and it was Ike Perlmutter that kept it from being woke. And the verdict is in. Kevin Feige may be a fraud. Maybe a giant fucking fraud. If anything, he's a sellout. In his Wikipedia, he is quoted as being a fanboy. And I've got audio of him saying he didn't read the comics as a kid. He had pajamas and watched fucking cartoons. Well, that's not a fucking fanboy. That's a fan. If you're going to call yourself a fanboy, you need to obsessively watch every TV show and movie and or read comic books. I would argue you can't call yourself a fanboy unless you read comic books. Now, the regularity varies. I would say you would have to have gone at least through large periods of your life reading comic books pretty consistently, but not all your life. You could say, I went through a 20-year thing where I read comic books, but I don't read them anymore. You could still call yourself a fanboy or a fan man. I prefer fan man because I own my basement. But, yeah. Watching cartoons and wearing pajamas that your parents bought you, you ain't a fanboy. That is fake geek. Fake geek. Speaking of fake geek. Un momento, por favor. Talk amongst yourselves for just a moment. Where was my last message to Jeremy? Nope. There it is. Make sure I'm not doxing myself. Okay. Oh, yeah. You like that? You like that? You like that? Look what it says on the other side. We're going to be making a fake geek girl one, but right now it's just fake geek tears. This obviously is a parody of all the fucking pieces of shit that drink fake or fanboy tears. Fanboy tears. Well, now we've got a cup for us. We're going to be drinking fake geek tears all fucking year. You're going to drown on fake geek tears because they're going to go, these shows went as woke and they were powerful, and why isn't anybody watching them? Well, even the fucking fake geeks are turning on this shit because they're fake geeks and they can't get anything from this shit anymore. So now they're peacing out. Now they're gone. Now they're leaving. That's Friday Night Tights merch. It'll be, as a matter of fact, Mrs. Nerdrotic picked the mugs up this weekend. Pay attention to my Instagram, instagram.com/nerdrotic for more news. By the way, if you miss Az on Twitter, like I do, or Perry Chan, you can follow him on Instagram. That's where our interaction is going to be going. Going to be drinking a lot of those fake geek tears, baby. If it ain't woke, don't fix it. For $20, says angeluspress.org. It's a big token interview. Had to do a .org. Look at quote after this pick. No way he would accept Amazon proof. There's no way I could look that up because that's a parsed out link. If you could pass it on to one of my mods, maybe. Thank you for the $20. I will look it up and we will bring it up on the next show. So I promise you I will bring it up. Thank you for the $20. I'm actually going to be out of here in a second. I went way long. I was supposed to stop 40 minutes ago. Stasio Pantas. Oh, I almost said Pant Nazis, but that's not your name. Stasios Pentazis for $10, not Pants Nazis. Hey, Gary, hail. One day, can you give us a list of some of your favorite movies, comics, and shows? I'd love to hear your recommendations. Also, miss you at the Outpost, and thanks for having my B-Day there. Oh, my God, I remember you now. Holy shit, Stasios. You were my first birthday party. You were my, oh, I miss you too, man. I miss you too. You're all old now. You're all old. You're grown up. Well, you know, I'll be back in the comic book game, but not in the state of California, unfortunately. Most certainly, I will come up with a list of my favorite stuff. I've been meaning to do that. But I do have recommendations. You don't have to buy anything. But if you search Amazon store Nerdrotic, there is I haven't updated it in a little while, but there's my tech recommendations, my book recommendations, my movie recommendations, my comic recommendations are all right there. Here, I could even look it up real quick before I go here. Oh my God, Stasio. I remember your mom gave me the idea. Your mom came in she comes in and she's like, your mom was fucking hilarious, by the way. I hope she's doing very well. Send her my best. She just comes in, starts talking to me like we knew each other for 10 years and says, you should do birthday parties. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I should. And I wanted to punch myself in the face. I'm like, how did I not think of that? Like from day one. And, oh, Stasios, I made a lot of money on that, dude. I made some cheddar doing that stuff. I made some cheddar. All right. What was I going to look up again? There we go. Hang on. It's so funny. Well, I got to move on. Sorry. That's such a trip, though, hearing from you. Gonzalo Bergali for 75 Uruguayan pesos. Hey, Gary, if a movie has no woman but has two trans women, does it pass the Bechdel test? Yes, it does. Are you saying our traps Bechdel? Yes, Gonzalo. Traps are Bechdel. You thought I was going to say, yeah, hey, didn't you? There it is, right there. Boop, 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 boop. That's kind of yeah, so there's the Nerdrotic page. And yeah, so it's just amazon.com/shop/Nerdrotic. And then you get recommended movies, recommended soundtracks, some of my tech shit, comic book collecting, recommended reading, and the Chic Geek. For example, let's go to recommended reading. And right here, I love this book. The Art of the Matrix is fucking awesome book. You can only get it used now, but it's like, it is a great book. And it tells you exactly why they made it. And guess what? It wasn't about transitioning. But The Art of the Matrix is a fantastic book. So there's an example of some of my recommendations. And hey, like this, Razor Fist. If it wasn't for fucking Razor Fist, I wouldn't know about this. And of course, here's one of my favorite superheroes, Warlock. This one's awesome. And there's another one of my favorite superheroes, Son of Satan, right there. There's the Orville comic. There's Transmetropolitan. It's another one of my faves. Oh, look at this. Berserk. Did somebody tell Nick Rekieta that Kentaro Miriaru died? Somebody better tell Rekieta, because I don't think he knows. This is one of my all-time favorites, We Three by Grant Morrison. This is a great fucking story. I don't know why I have the German edition up there, but you want to buy the English edition. Douglas Adams, Doctor Who, Shada. Now, Shada has been rewritten like 5 times into Dirk Gently, and it also into City of Death. There's elements of all. He just rewrote the same thing, but we love it. What else? I am missing something here. Oh, look at this. Critical Drinker book right there. Will Jordan. Get that shit right there. That's my boy, Critical Drinker. So enough of this. All right, folks, I'm going to have to run out. Let me thank you for becoming a member, Cardinal Sin. Appreciate that, Gil. Paul Elder, thank you for the $5 donation. Jay Reynolds for $4.99. I am pretty sure Bechdel is the scientific name for the taint. Yeah. Hey, Gary, I read that one. The greatest adventure is what lies ahead. Hail, Gary. Tolkien is the GOAT, and old Star Wars I deeply miss. I do too. Star Wars was perfect for normies because it was such a well put together world that had infinite possibilities because there was no Bible. There was no Bible on, and the world building was still happening, so you could still project on Star Wars a lot of stuff that wasn't there, but it gave you just enough. Now, I think George Lucas's biggest mistake was not creating a fucking Bible for Star Wars. Like, he let other people add on and build to the world, and he didn't. You know, I think that was probably a mistake. You know, Tolkien and George R.R. Martin are both fucking fantastic world builders. You know, Martin can't finish, but it's undeniable that the Planetos and Westeros and the world of A Song of Ice and Fire is fucking fascinating. It's a fantasy world built on Tolkien and H.P. Lovecraft. It's fucking, and Babylon 5. So now I know what you're talking about, folks. I've watched enough Babylon 5 that you bet your fucking ass George R.R. Martin took a lot of stuff from Babylon 5 and put it in Game of Thrones and put it in A Song of Ice and Fire. I was like, nah, no. The White Walkers are by some are called the Shadows. The whole concept might have been ripped from Straczynski. There's other things. Hour of the Wolf, which I know is used in other places, but there's a lot of similarities between B5 and The Song of Ice and Fire. Too much to not be, too much to just be a coincidence. Tim Pool passed a diamond. Worried about AJ getting his channel nuked. JM, what does that mean? AJ? Somebody explain that to me. I don't know if you were like, so it says Tim Pool passed a diamond. Worried about AJ getting his channel nuked. Alex Jones. Okay. So he passed on Alex Jones because he's worried about getting his channel nuked. Well, I'm not worried about that. I'll take the risk. I am in very good standing with the YouTube. I don't get in trouble with them. They hit me. By the way, my last Lord of the Rings video, yes, I had to cut out that opening because Warner, after it cleared copyright, just some guy just did a great video on the copyright system, so fucking broken. So it cleared copyright for 12 hours, but somebody came in and fucking manually hit it. And yes, it's probably somebody wanting me to shut up. So I just cut it out. I put too much work to give fucking the owners of the Lord of the Rings Amazon and all my fucking money for that. Fuck no. I'm keeping my money. I had to give up the clip. It did kind of fucking ruin the video, so I'm sorry. And I was fucking pissed. I'm still pissed over it. Superman and Lois is a little woke, but it's not as much in your face. I enjoyed the first season, says The Last for $5. I will be doing a video on Superman and Lois, I promise. Nerdrotic, did you know Pelosi is sending the Capitol Police to Cali and Florida? Is she going to get you? Hashtag Gary for Hunger Games. We'll pray for you. Yeah, they want to nationalize the Capitol Police Force. Fucking what? Fucking what? How are we letting this shit happen, folks? Alex Jones might come on, but you ain't Tim Pool. Mama Susan will yeet you faster than she does Papa Gundam's monetization, says Swinging Cod for $5. Well, I saw him on another podcast of a channel that's around my size and nothing happened to them. You know, what's life without a little risk? Okay. What's life without a little risk? He wouldn't come on my show anyway. How long do you think we'll have to wait for results in the culture war to see good entertainment and non-political stuff again? I hope that day comes sooner rather than later if we get our way. The Grizzly for $20. You're going to start seeing peaks of it here and there probably next year. Don't look for it this year. Maybe the year after next, but don't look for it this year. And I'll be real with you. And until I see different, don't look for it in any of our favorite franchises. The best we got was Superman and Lois. Look for it in independent film. You know, the Snyder Cut wasn't fucking woke. You might have hated it. You might have not liked the story. You might have not liked what anything about it, but it wasn't fucking woke. Richard Pierce for $20. Gary, you're gay. Actually, you're not. I just wanted to give you $20 for giving me entertainment. Also, you're gay. Well, I'm not. And, you know how I found that out? By not being gay. I made it through prison not having sex with a man. So I'm pretty sure I'm not gay. I made it through prison without having sex, which proves I'm not gay. Wasn't interested. And like I said, all the sex there, most of it, well, although consensual, very consensual. A lot of people are gay in prison. But not me. No, I was fine reading a book. It was a couple years. I was young. I was going to get by just fine. Gary, any update on Thursday meetup at Star Trek Las Vegas? Looking forward to it. And none, the 300-pound leprechaun. 6 p.m., August 12th at the, I need to put this in, for one, I need to figure out a name for the event. I haven't given it a name. So the meetup is at the Millennium Fandom Bar, 900 South Las Vegas Boulevard, 6 p.m., Thursday, August 12th. It's karaoke night. It'll go probably till closing. See you there. The second meetup is at the Millennium Fandom Bar. We don't have the extra room, so it's just at the bar. If the location changes, because I really wanted to get that spare room, but for some reason they won't give it to me, so I might change the location on Saturday. But as it stands right now, it's at the Millennium Fandom Bar, 6 p.m. Saturday. If the location changes, I will blast it everywhere and let you know. But as of right now, that's where it is. Thursdays for sure, because we do have the private room too to mingle in between. That was disappointing. That was very disappointing to hear. I don't think they understand that we're cool and you want us there. I'm trying to make them understand that. It's like, my people will come there and they'll like buy drinks and stuff. 200-watt studio for $5. They could, by the way, it's free. It's all free. They could do a murder mystery film where, to subvert current expectations, the male character is not the murderer. Hey, maybe that's Knives Out too, buddy. More Knives Out. I got a god-awful movie that I love called Rubber. I highly recommend it, says Mr. Dustin Anderson. All right. I'll hold you to that. Billy Mack for $10 says, hey, Gary. Hey, how's it going? I keep hitting this. Virus with the Cause for $4.99. What up? What up to you? What up to you? Thank you for the super chats. All right, I'll get the rest on the square up, folks. And it will be this week. If you missed any of the square ups, they're on Nerdrotic Live. I got 2 of them that cover the last week and a half. I do need to get the Exozone square up for last week, so that's going to be on the next one too. I appreciate all super chats, all donations. I do apologize that I'm on time limits, and I will be until I move. I have videos to make, lots of videos to make now. All of a sudden, there's too many things to talk about. I went for 3 days, like, couldn't find a thing to talk about. I did make a California video, and I'm going to release it. I just don't know where, but I'll let you know. I did want to give you guys a warning, though, because this is a pop culture channel. Yes, I'm in the culture war. Yes, we talk about issues like free speech, free expression, authoritarianism, authoritative fucking big tech, and we talk about all that shit, but I don't really get right-left politics, except when it comes to California, but there is no right-left politics in California. There's only Democrat. There are no Republicans here that have any kind of power. And San Francisco, I told earlier, just did a poll where 40% of the people of San Francisco are leaving. Not 10%, not 15%, 40%. Almost half are leaving. Target, Walgreens, 7-Eleven are closing earlier now. 7-Eleven's not staying open 24 hours in San Francisco anymore. A lot of them, they're done. They can't stay open because there's organized rings of shoplifters. Memology just showed a video last night, and there was another one a week ago, and the one he showed last year in the Walgreens was a block down from my comic shop. And it could happen in my comic shop, in my old comic shop. I don't know how it doesn't. Somebody could run in and steal a fucking long box full of comics. You think Brian Hibbs is going to catch him? He'd have to put down like his bong. Oh, he doesn't even work at the one I bought. He bought from me. Oh. Okay. Thanks to the Nerdrotics. Thanks to X-Ray Girl. And thanks everyone for taking the time to sit here and watch. It is the privilege of a lifetime and the honor of a lifetime to do this. This is the best gig I've ever had. I fucking love you guys. Neil, thank you for joining the Proto Molecule level. There will be a members stream Thursday at 10 a.m. and Sunday at 10 a.m. if you're a member of Jaloja and higher. I will make one of those public on Nerdrotic Live. Don't forget to subscribe to Nerdrotic Daily, which just passed 40,000 subscribers. Nerdrotic Live, which just passed 50,000 subscribers. We're creeping up on 350 subscribers here. It's all been great. And Friday Night Tights hit 100,000 views. It's been a fucking great week. So thank you, everyone, and I will talk to you soon. There will be an Exozone tomorrow. I don't know what time, so keep an eye on Twitter. And Friday Night Tights with Chrissy Mayer and another special guest. But Chrissy Mayer will be the center of attention because she's the girl, and because she's our main guest. But we are bringing on another person who you will like quite a bit. And you know what? I'll just announce that tomorrow on Twitter, just to tease you guys a little bit. So enjoy some credits. Thanks, Eric K. Thanks to the Nerdrotics. K-Mac the Great. Do you know a Charles Fenderson? I just want to know. No. I don't know that. That's a weird way to end it. But thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. All right. Ciao, everyone.
Nerdrotic.com.
Logo that's on Facebook, not the Nerdrotic logo, but the other one. He's really freaking good at what he does. He says, "Hi, Gary. I can't wait for you to move to Texas. We've saved you a seat. Thank you for not giving up and saying what we're thinking. Still a fan, always a fan. Thanks, brother. I appreciate it." We can sneak one more in here. I think I've got time. Why did it stop? That's so weird. Zatras. No one listens to Zatras for 10 pounds. I agree with you when you said in earlier streams that if the U.S. wasn't here, many places would be in disarray. I am Polish and grateful. Without you, we'd have conflicts open like Crimea in the Ukraine. Thank you, Zatras. We appreciate you. We fucking love Poland. And thank you for The Witcher. Thank you for The Witcher. Sorry what Netflix did to it, but thank you for The Witcher. Thank you, Zatras. I listen to Zatras. All right. Good night, everybody.